Oh, bloody hell.
Has Jordan done a walkthrough on this show yet?
Oh, we should get that to happen.
I want a refund.
Yeah. So sorry, guys. You may need to get a refund for this episode. I'm not even sure what happened.
It says it's live now again.
Yep.
Yeah,
I just
we're
posted
back
this
up.
live again. So if this is a new episode,
And on another thing, huh?
Yep.
so they may get an 212 A and B, but yep, we're going live.
Yep.
So people can be on YouTube and just watch this as it happens? Is that what's going on here?
We're live right now.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, everybody.
And in color.
No idea what happened there. I
No one
blame
cares.
YouTube and or
Right, yeah.
Blame it on fucking Wyoming.
There's at least 10 people
But
upset.
I'm sure Wyoming is part of it. Speaking of
They're,
that,
they're cutting the wires.
Sweet. No one saw my games.
yes. Well, we're not done yet.
Oh no, they saw Brian's games, but Brendan gets to start his tour all over again.
I can't even unplug my mic though. So
I have a very strange view in Zoom I've never seen before. What
Brian's
the fuck
asshole?
is going on? Oh, Jesus, is that it?
The best view.
what?
I'm a little bit turned on. So that might be it.
My black hole.
Should we all leave the room for a moment?
Yeah.
Well, no.
You think you got booted
Not
off
all of
YouTube
you.
before.
But if Brian could hang out and maybe
Wow.
show some more of that asshole.
Wow. And that black hole.
The
That's
black
my
hole.
that's
I'm
my
sorry,
cue-
not the
cue to
asshole,
leave.
the black hole. No, I can't get back to a full screen view.
Really?
Yeah.
To me,
mean
it looks like
gallery
it's
view?
presenting whoever's talking.
Yeah, I could switch it back and forth between them.
Yeah, I was able to switch it back to gallery.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No,
all right.
we're broadcasting.
Oh, I
Okay,
found
yeah,
it.
I have gallery view
Yep,
now.
then we're good. Okay. So going back to gallery view, which hopefully will be the stream.
That says live.
We're all back together.
Fuck it,
and
we're going live.
on some shit. Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Fuck it with
Mistakes.
no spin zone.
Is it poop?
All this
Every
is a
week
spinning
it's
circle.
poop.
What kind of fucking show is this?
Yeah.
Amateur hour.
It's not a show. That's the
All right,
I
let's
wonder
start
what
all-
boys have.
Let's start all over. Okay.
Oh,
I
no.
wonder what's
That-
inside your
that's too
butthole
obvious.
song.
Mock, can you do the intro again real quick?
And
So,
wonder
this-
what's inside your butthole.
Mock, this is episode
Boys have a
221.
vagina.
Go ahead and
Girls have a
redo the
penis.
intro.
Oh. Welcome to the arcade hangout, you fucks.
Fuck you, fuck.
The end.
We're a bunch of arcade collectors like to get together, and we're starting all over again at 9:21 Pacific time. Thank you very much.
So we're gonna
There
go
we
2 hours from now. We're starting over.
Perfect.
Go.
We're giving you back 2 hours.
Sorry, but our YouTube cut our feed. Those
It was either
bastards.
YouTube or Zoom. I have no idea what was wrong there.
Probably
we fixed
YouTube.
it,
They always have
hopefully.
issues.
And here we are back. So, where did we leave off? Who was doing the game room tour? Was it Brandon?
Brandon was showing us his pinball
Penis.
machine.
Yeah.
Show us your
Yes.
penis, just like you were when we were not.
And we're going to see his
it.
sex dungeon after that.
Show us on Jungle Lord where they touched you.
Show us on a puppet where he touched you.
Show us
Where
how
did the
you
jungle lord touch you?
show us how you treat your French games.
Yes.
Show us where the bad uncle touched you.
Draw me like one of your French girls.
Brandon, you're
Or
presented,
boys.
I guess, right now. I don't know
Yeah.
if you
So
know
Brandon,
that.
sorry,
Yeah.
you're
Go,
walking
Brandon.
through. Sorry, like so. Rewind.
Oh.
You could, if you don't mind.
Talk
Did
backwards.
you,
mean,
did you buy that marquee or did it come that way on Qbert?
That was the one from Phoenix.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you listen to our podcast and you did your homework,
Oh,
Hey,
I need
Jack
to
listens to it for
Well,
us.
there would be no math.
and this is why we don't ask people to be on.
Where's the
Just do
fucking
it for
show
me,
notes?
too.
Exactly, Carrie.
So much for the
Perfect.
crossover episode where it's all warm and fuzzy.
All right, never mind.
I was told there'd be no math or listening
Yeah, no math on the
during
show.
this episode.
We don't even
so-
watch our own show.
No,
Come
fuck
on
no.
now. You can't ask us to watch other people's.
Wait, you've been here for an
sit out of
hour
my
and a
house.
half.
Okay, I'll ask you questions about our show, fuckface.
That even we don't
You don't
know.
listen.
I know.
I won't
Let's see your
remember either.
Let's see what you got. Show us.
Bunch of fucking seismic
What you
seizures
got? What you
and
got? What you got?
fart noises.
Yes.
Poop boners. You forgot that.
Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that you know that much about it is actually a little embarrassing for all of us.
Yeah. Well, we told
All right,
Mostly
so-
you. That's good.
As we tell all of our guests, we
All
love
right,
you, but
stop.
it's your fault for clicking the link.
All right, Brandon. Let's start. Let's
Yeah.
start.
Yeah.
Let's start all over.
Yeah,
All
let's
right.
start fresh. We'll
Okay.
cut that part out. It's
All
gonna,
right.
let's leave it in
All right.
post.
Wait a minute, are we gonna do like a
There's no
edit
post.
random?
There's no
um,
post on this show.
There's no edit.
Wait, how do you
Tell.
know that?
So,
How many games? How many
You told
games
them.
total do you own?
I don't know.
6.
That's the right answer.
7. There's a couple at my buddy's house.
A better
Maybe,
one is how
which
many
adds up
has
to
he owned?
10.
He's
It's
owned
maybe
a
Oh,
billion
nice.
of them, and he never keeps them.
So
12,
one of you
13.
guys, didn't you have a
Pretty good.
kind of a warehouse space with some games? Or
That's
something?
Ian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It
And
was
just,
too good for the show.
and just
Yep.
one
Bonus,
one
yeah.
pin.
Got it.
Just,
Wait,
a
wait.
feature.
This Ian?
Yeah.
Oh, not
Oh
that Ian.
shit!
Yeah.
Okay, now let me ask you this: is there any pins out there that you've been looking at that you might want to get in the future?
Eeyore is our Ian. Eeyore on
Yes, on-
What are you talking
KLOV.
about?
Yeah, the smart guy. Yeah. But I think Tuesday night's his sexy time with his girlfriend, so you're not gonna get him out here.
Very
Oh no, nice. So your
nice.
smart
She'll
guy,
get him out.
your smart guy doesn't show up on Tuesday nights either. Awesome.
That's you.
Yeah.
You
Neither
guys
does
have a
ours.
smart guy. Yeah.
Right. Apparently it's a club. They don't.
Those
they don't
smart
work.
guys have sexy night on Tuesday.
Yeah. Apparently,
Or at least work on Wednesday.
At least somebody is.
we've never had our smart guy on for a Tuesday night either.
Who's our smart
Well,
guy?
Adam.
Yeah, we
Oh, I
used
thought
to
you
have
said
smart
Keith.
guys on
Keith pretty
Tuesday
smart.
nights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adam pops, or he just came back.
Yeah,
back
he
to
used
Say-
to.
where-
Back in the
Yeah,
olden
he used to be.
days.
He used to be regular on Tuesdays.
Okay, who's smarter, Adam, Keith, or Crafty Mech?
Oh, we can't.
We're
do
not
that.
going there.
Let's not go there.
No.
That's not
Push.
fun.
they're all
Type it in the
smart.
chat.
We definitely
Just
got,
kidding.
yeah, we got a lot of.
Come
we got
on
a lot
now.
of
Most of
smart
your
guys.
parents, you can't pick your favorite, at least out loud.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the important part, is at least out loud.
All right, wait, I want to ask Brandon about his pin. Is there any
Yeah.
pins out there that you are looking at to get in the future?
Yeah. Probably the shit. What was it?
Wonka.
World
Yeah.
Cup.
New-
Soccer.
is there a newer pin?
No.
Okay.
I think the last ones I was looking at was either Johnny Mnemonic or it was one of the episodes.
Johnny Mnemonic is fun.
That's
Yeah.
actually a really good pin
Yeah.
and not a great movie.
No, it's not a great movie. It's,
What are you
it's
talking
a fair
about? It's a
representation
wonderful
of the book,
movie.
too, or well, the short story.
That's
Cyber
Keanu
Room
Reeves, right?
service.
Yeah.
It's like the
club sandwich.
I want the fucking
Fuck
room
off,
service.
dude. That's just terrible.
most mind blowing part was Dolph Lundgren was in it.
Yeah, right. Dolph Lundgren was the high point.
I just like the laser whip ring thing. That's the best part of the movie, I
Yeah.
thought.
I want the club sandwich.
Sandwich.
Jesus
I want
Christ, you're such a whiny fuck.
cheeseburger.
It's funny to watch
it's
it now.
basically
'Cause
like the hamburger cheeseburger thing.
isn't it the space in his brain only like a gig or something? It's like not
Yeah.
even very
Yeah.
much.
Hugely impressive.
It's not even
Which
a
I'm pretty
terabyte.
sure Keanu Reeves is pushing pretty hard on that one gig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in the pin, there is it does mention like it goes up to the spinner, right? It goes up to
Yeah.
hundreds of gigabytes. So it's
Oh, it
getting there.
does.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
I think it
doesn't
was
actually do that.
Mnemonic or the Shadow or one of the pins I was looking at.
Ooh, that's
Oh,
a
the
good
Shadow's
one.
fun.
Shadow's
Cool.
a great game.
Especially
Have
if you
you-
replace the back glass.
Have you
'Cause-
beaten Johnny Mnemonic or played at a friend's house or something? Did you go
No.
Pretty far. Okay.
I just like staring at pictures of games. And saying
How about your creature from Black Lagoon? Have
Game
you gotten
porn.
pretty far in that? And
yeah, like I don't know, 200-300 mil. It's all about the theme for me. You know, it doesn't have to be an amazing game.
Yeah.
So
I think a lot of us are movie nerds here from
That's
what
true.
I'm getting when you guys were looking at Brian's memorabilia and stuff.
Yes, we were very excited about the black hole thing, like the Vincent. I still want to know more
black
about
hole.
that Vincent in there.
Mhm.
But
yeah,
we'll keep this off air because like that'll be a stupid conversation because I want Vincent.
That's a guilty pleasure of mine.
It
that
is,
ball.
yeah.
I
good
think I
one.
watched it on your Plex. I think Andrew.
Yeah, I hope so.
that's one of my
we just
passions,
watched
too.
that.
I love that movie.
horror
Fantastic
documentary.
movie.
That was fun to get that.
Yeah, so we
doing that
definitely
Yeah.
have to touch on the horror stuff we've been doing or the movie night.
Thursday
in general.
nights. Yes.
So Thursday nights.
So
maybe
are you
Saturdays.
nixing? Is it transforming from game night to movie night? Is that,
Maybe
Well-
for a little bit.
I think we do what the crowd wants to do, but I think doing some movie nights because we've been doing Killer Queen Black, which I don't know if you guys from Grim Rejects know.
Oh, they've had that at Ground Control forever. Killer
For sure,
Queen?
yeah. So
That-
we do, but we do we play the Steam version of it online.
Oh, really?
Is that called, what is that called? Killer Queef?
Killer Queen,
yeah.
Killer Queen.
It'll blow you away.
It'll blow you away.
Oh, see, if you say Killer Queen Black, it sounds racist, and then
I heard
We're
that
off
game
the
kind of
air
stinks
again.
though.
It's kind of fishy.
Oh, watch it
Something
now.
fishy about this conversation.
guaranteed. However, we do get together every Thursday night to play games on PC.
It certainly
And
makes
one
me
of the
laugh.
games we've been playing a lot lately has been Killer Queen
Mhm.
Black, which is
And
available.
it runs on a
Yeah, the
potato.
Steam version
so-
is called Killer
Yeah.
Queen. Black.
Killer Queens from Outer Space. It's the
Yeah,
sequel.
oh, nice.
It's pretty fun to play.
It's
eight-
super fun. We've
8 people.
had a good time. Actually, a great time with the people who joined. But we've also did this last Thursday, and then Saturday we did a show because we've been doing this same shit on Saturday. But we decided to do a movie night this last week, and we watched the documentary that Mock shared with us about Into Darkness, which is all horror movies from the 80s. And we had a great time, I
Mhm.
think.
Actually, I just
Sounds
got
great.
this just showed up today, my new headset,
Oh, nice.
because
Oh, we're not
I feel
done.
so silly. I feel so
Yeah.
silly buying a fucking new piece of audio gear. I've got the greatest setup ever, but when it comes to headsets, I don't have jack shit. And the one I was using had all that feedback because it's
Yeah, we were
like
getting
on
feedback,
ear.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So hopefully this will solve that because I hate having to mute the whole time
Right.
and then quickly
Yeah.
chime in.
So if
Yeah,
you haven't heard of
I
this
have that.
documentary though, it was pretty fun because it jumps from like it focuses on a movie just for like maybe 10 minutes and then jumps to another movie. But they'll interview people like
It was
Keith
4.5
David.
hours.
It's 4.5 hour documentary. So that's
4.5
what
hours.
They broke it
It's,
into two nights. Yeah.
Carrie came up with the best analogy for it. It's like if you took the VH1 series I Love the 80s and you made that all about just horror movies.
Yep.
That's what it was because it was
Nice.
so Carrie said she doesn't know if she'd watch it by herself, but as a group it was super fun because it's like everyone's like, "Oh my god, I remember that. That was so awesome. You remember that? That was in this part." And
It was like a little bit MST3K style where we would chime in, but we were trying to keep ourselves restrained, so we'd just talk over the whole movie. But yeah, we had a great time, and they're actually working on a new one. And I think you should promote this and actually Mock.
Yeah,
I joined at the same level you did, even though it's fucking.
It's
stupid.
so expensive because it's Australian editor.
But it's so good, and
Oh, shit. Australia,
made me
huh?
feel better because it also includes the digital version of the movie we did.
Yep.
So it was me.
Yep.
My copy is now legit.
Yeah. So is mine. Yeah. So
So
it's the newer one that they're working on. It's supposed to be out mid next year, I think.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
It's called In Search of Tomorrow instead of In Search of Darkness. So it's all going to be about sci-fi movies
of the 80s.
So we're talking about Black Hole. We're talking about
RoboCop.
RoboCop.
Star Wars.
Last Starfighter.
That's my genre.
Horrors.
You name it, yeah.
Yes.
But they interviewed the actors. They
But they
interview the director. The last one we watched had John Carpenter for crying
John
out
fucking
loud.
Carpenter.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Thing.
Huge
Yep.
part of that. Yeah.
Oh,
It seems like they'll cover a movie for
We had
like
the
maybe
actors
5 or
from
10
Nightmare on
minutes,
Elm
and then
Street.
they'll go on
We
to the
had
next.
Nancy. We
the
had
black dude
the black dude. Yeah.
from the third movie. What's that
the
guy?
third and fourth.
Third
or
and
the
fourth. That's right.
Yeah,
You're
for
right.
He wasn't in the fourth very long.
No,
The beginning, but like, yeah, either way, it's like, yeah, great actors, great producers.
So
great
here, I'll
directors.
post a link for the Kickstarter if you
Already
guys are
done.
interested. Oh, you
Yeah.
already did it? Oh, cool.
So-
Thank you,
You're good.
Seabart.
He just wants to be in the end credits.
I want to be in the end credits too. Like,
So that's Kickstarter's wrapping up though.
That was funny.
Yeah.
So if you just want a digital
Yeah.
copy, it's like how much
Right,
is
that
digital
was awesome.
digital copy only?
30 euros, which is like $40.
Yeah, it's kind of pricey,
Yeah.
but it is
It's not
long
cheap.
though. It's
Yeah.
4.5
It's like
hours.
4.5
US
hours.
and-
It's insane.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
check out the trailer for
And
it.
it's
really
hugely
cool.
good quality too. And they bring in, it's not just like them doing a documentary about horror. It's like they bring in the actors, Keith David, John Carpenter.
Yes.
They had a bunch of
Monster
fucking-
Squad, the kid in that
Monster Squad.
movie.
They had the Monster Squad, yeah.
Heather
Yeah, so-
Camp. They had a bunch of
A ton. Yes.
actors. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It reminded me, it was like if you took a photo album and you're like, and it's like horror movies, and it was just kind of like a walk down memory lane.
Yeah.
Especially like, well, if you've seen a lot of them, which I assume.
Some you haven't though. That was kind of
I-
fun. like
I probably
basket
didn't
case.
see like probably like 60%
Yes,
of those
basket case
movies.
is awesome.
So they showed clips from that, and they're like, "What the fuck is this stop motion stuff?" And
Yeah.
and him raping the girl at the end. And it was some crazy shit they showed in the
Hey,
documentary. on that.
Gino.
Or they showed stuff on
Hey,
the
yeah,
movie
you
The
made it.
Stuff. Have you seen The Stuff?
Yeah, I've seen the stuff. It's
direct-
awesome.
Yeah,
Yep.
The director who died
Marshmallow.
after the documentary, and The Stuff. He did a bunch of weird movies. Like what else did he do? He did It's Alive, Island of the Alive. And I don't know. He did a bunch of movies.
They have
Hey,
I know a
Saturday
lot of
Night
us,
in there.
I added like I don't know, 30 or 40 movies to that list. Some of which I got on Plex, and I'll figure out how to do on Amazon. But like, yeah. So
Oh,
like,
Society is.
I'm
on,
so excited.
Prime, so
Society
we
is
can
one of the
watch-
ones. Yeah,
We can
Amazon
watch that on
has a lot
Prime.
of obscure horror movies.
Amazon.
It
Yeah.
does.
streaming
However,
app.
we can't
Yeah.
share it on the Watch Together app.
It
with
has to be
Amazon.
you that because with that that's just YouTube, right?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Well, so we've got an app for YouTube that works well. Me and Carrie have seen her, works great for Netflix. So I mean, like there, and I think there's one for Amazon Prime that we discussed. So I mean,
We gotta
like
try that out. The Amazon
most,
one.
yeah.
I'm super excited to get like keep the movie night going because like we started
OBS
that.
would work for shit because there would be inherent
Yeah,
lag.
the Watch
Gino should join
Together
us.
so far. So if we can grab a digital version, we can figure out a way to make it publish and we can watch it.
Gina,
together.
what are you doing Thursday nights?
or Saturdays. Yeah.
Or Saturday is the
That's
best.
free.
Yeah.
What was that?
Saturdays I'm free. Doing this talking about gaming.
No, we like to
No,
get
watch the
together. We
movies.
we
Oh,
do
we'll
a
watch
movie
movies.
together
Yeah.
and we stream it. We all watch
Something
it at the
even
same time.
lazier
Yeah.
Yeah,
that you
yeah,
can
right, yeah.
drink yourself silly to.
You would think that an arcade podcast would be doing gaming, but no, we've moved past that.
The problem is we can't
It's-
play Rastan together.
Yes.
If only we
right.
could play that together, then we
Yeah.
could actually do
I
a
thought it
proper
was-
Saturday night.
Like
I thought it was
this is
because-
me when we were watching the movie.
Go ahead.
That's all you
Kid.
have to do.
Just like
No
You
effort.
do the same thing you do every
Yeah.
night, Chris.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
Trying
so
to
Oh, I
take
thought,
over the
I thought
world.
it was
I gotta
because
fix this chair.
we
Seabart,
switched over
not-
to movie watching because Jim bought Killer Queen,
Yeah.
So he-
oh,
Yeah.
right? So that's
And he
why
was
we
too
were
good
like,
at it.
oh
finally,
shit,
like,
he's
fuck that
gonna
guy.
be there.
I
We'll
discovered tutorials.
We'll come back to it. We'll come
No,
back.
100%. Like gaming night, we should
Maybe we'll
still
do
do.
that Saturday.
I'm thinking. Well, no, I would still like to do gaming night on Thursdays, but maybe we do movie night on Saturdays.
That's
There you
harder
go.
for me because my wife wants to hang out
On
sometimes.
Saturdays.
Does she like movies?
Sometimes.
I was kidding.
Yeah, right.
Let's,
Yeah,
we-
there you go.
That's an
No.
internal problem. Let's figure out what nights
Yeah,
we need to do stuff.
exactly.
Well, how many of you
Well-
guys have seen? I've talked about it, and me and Carrie, and I know, I think Mock, Andrew. I don't know if you've watched it, but I know you've ripped it. Was the Never Sleep Again?
I've watched it. Yes, I watched the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Okay. Because that'd be. I was just gonna say that'd be a good follow up since we just got it. Since we just watched
Ooh,
that one.
And I should say too that like I ripped. Well, no, I have not ripped. I have bought a bunch of
ripped.
movies that we were talking about because I was mock during the show. Like we were talking about stuff. Like I'm making a long list, so I
Yeah.
have bought a bunch of movies
Really?
from that.
What are some that you've
And-
ripped so far from the ones you bought?
They just arrived today
Oh, okay.
because it's now Tuesday and we were watching that shit on Saturday. So I was ordering it that night on Saturday or Sunday.
I was just wondering what some of the stuff that came in.
I'll tell you when I know. I actually,
Oh, okay.
I'm COVID quarantining.
Not touching
movies.
it. Okay.
So I have not opened the boxes yet. So I don't know. But like there's a bunch of shit coming in. And I've got a bunch of stuff to share. But like I'd also like to watch the actual movies we were talking about during the documentary that
Yeah,
you
you were
guys were
writing them
most
all down. All those
interested
ones.
in. Yes.
Yeah.
So the ones you guys are most interested in, we can figure out a way to watch those together. So, for example,
I prioritize those on Netflix because then we
Yes,
wouldn't
no.
have to do the
Yeah, sure.
craziness
Good
of
point,
all the
Carrie.
Yeah.
Discord
for sure.
stuff.
well, but we have to do Discord to talk during them, so we can.
No, but
No.
not with
Do like
Scener.
that.
No, you
Not
don't.
with
That's
Scener.
the
with
beauty
Scener,
of
oh,
it.
with Scener, it has
Audio's
to-
built in.
Right.
Okay.
As long as we avoid the having to, as long as we can use Netflix more.
Cool.
golden.
So, whatever you guys want to watch, that's cool. I want to watch movies with you
Yeah.
guys because we have a great time. That's it. So, whatever it is, whether it's through Watch Together or Scener or whatever it is,
All right.
let's hang out and watch movies together because
We could each each of us could pick like a cut like maybe like one or two movies that we would like to put out there, and then we'd have a little, and then we could vote or something like that.
you guys are gonna watch so much fucking tentacle porn.
I can't wait. I hope
don't
it's in
remember seeing
VR.
that. Yeah. Nice. So I think we have a request to see Jordan's arcade.
Oh, Jordan, please do a walkthrough.
It's a black hole. You're not going to see anything. It has no lights.
We
unless
were
the
just talking
thing
about how
goes-
much we love Black Hole.
Yeah, right.
The,
Yeah,
the
it's a
lower
good segue.
playfield, it's gorgeous, dude. Show
Are
us.
the games on? If the games are on, you'll see the games in the marquees.
No, I only turn the games on behind me. Like
Oh, I thought you turned them all
I'm
on
hooked up
after.
to a
You need
Mac.
to have
You
them
need
on
like
Rest
music
is-
to
rest really
motivate
is a
you or
black hole.
something. Like
They're like,
I like it.
Wow.
Do you have cookies?
look, it's
Brandon's back.
well, if he's got cookies, that's a different musical melody, I'm afraid.
here's my girlfriend.
Hey,
Hey,
girlfriend.
Liz.
Awkwardly
I saw you
forced
talking to
into-
somebody.
Sorry.
Speaking of horror movies, I just took a monster piss.
Nice.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll come on
You
one
need to
time and
bring
I'll,
your
Nothing fits in
wireless
right
headset.
good with us.
I'll turn
Alright.
everything on and
Okay.
I'll do the thing and
All right.
and I don't know. I'll walk around with a laptop so you can see it all.
Wow,
That works.
you don't do that
There's
for
a
me.
bunch of games down.
I love when you
So you had a
get close
guest
to the
drinking a
microphone.
glass of wine. You saw briefly.
I
like the missus.
the proximity effect.
It
really.
turns me on.
Ooh, baby.
Poop boner.
Oh,
Without the
Did she hear
booze.
us?
She's listening to the whole fucking thing too. So
There
she's
you go. Yeah.
really?
What are you getting me involved in, Jordan?
sorry.
She's like,
Stop it, please, for God's sake, please stop it. There's no more time.
I was in the documentary.
it sure was.
What's
And
the-
his
Yeah,
Yeah,
amazing,
that was great.
and Crispin Glover's amazing dance.
I
Yes.
know it's
And
terrible fucking dance. Jesus Christ.
Oh, which Halloween movie was that? Or Nightmare? Or
Talking about
not
Friday
Halloween.
the
that
Friday the
reminds me.
13th.
I need that.
Yeah.
I need,
Part
it's
four, we saw
I need to get that
dancing
sound
all-
bite where she stops the music and goes, "Hey, why'd you turn it off?"
I'm your density.
Yeah.
What's the name of the
Oh,
guy?
that'd be a
It's
fun.
top
That'd be a
me
fun
too.
mashup edit. That'd be a great mashup edit.
What's the name of the guy from Halloween 3? I always forget his name. The guy with the
Michael
mustache.
Myers.
No.
No, not in the cream.
No, he's not in Halloween 3.
Nope, he's not in 3.
Season
no.
of the Witch.
Yeah, the one
Okay,
that
well,
says, "Stop
Susan
it,
the Witch.
stop it."
That's the one
Stop
with the
it.
mask, the silver shamrock.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
3 more days till Halloween.
Yeah, that actor was in the
Halloween,
documentary
Halloween.
talking about all the horror
Yeah.
movies he's
Is
been
that
in. which
Mr.
was,
Bigglesworth?
Like The Fog and
Oh my
was
God!
just
It's
going to
a
say,
rat.
yeah.
It's a rat monkey from Brain Dead. Dead Alive.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Dead Alive.
Don't let it
Yes.
bite you.
Dead Alive is great.
The cat's
Yeah, it is.
freaking me out, Brian.
Andrew, have you seen Dead Alive?
Yeah.
Oh,
Alright.
and I don't care.
I've seen Dead Alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bigglesworth.
That movie.
It's amazing. Have a
insane.
couple drinks and
Every
the
single
sound bites
80s
just
movie.
flow.
I kick ass for the Lord.
So, what are your guys' favorite horror movies? After the show, we watched the whole thing. What's your like top 2? We'll extend it to top
Top
2.
2.
What's your top 2 from the 80s horror movies?
Oh, man.
One of
They
my
instantly
favorites
came
is,
to my head.
Mine.
Fright Night.
Which
Yeah.
which
All
Nightmare
right,
on
let
Elm
me-
Street
let-
do I
I'll-
choose?
Let's go around the rim.
I'm asking the question, so I'll start with what I see is my top left. Dave from Buffalo, you're first. Go. Top
Fright Night,
2.
Fright Night and Children of the Corn.
Oh,
They covered Children of the
first one.
Corn.
They
in the movie.
covered both of those.
First one.
Oh, they
'Cause
did.
I
They
only
did.
saw the
Yep.
first one and it scared
Yep.
the shit out of me.
They did.
He walks behind the rows, Malachi. Fuck.
Yeah, he walks.
Malachi.
Yeah, scared me.
All right, so
Santiam.
Brian, you're next. You guys have no idea what I'm going to say. Who's next? So good luck. Just get
So
your
difficult.
Brian. So just
so I'll
favorite
say-
two, like just bam, bam.
I'll say Fright Night and Friday the 13th.
First one?
Which one? Which Friday the 13th?
The first one.
The first one. Okay.
Kevin Bacon one.
Kevin.
Yeah.
The one with the mustache. The guy
He
with
has
the
the
mustache.
best death in
That
it.
one.
He does have a great death in that one. Yeah.
Great death.
All right, so Brandon, you're next.
Oh man, I have a mini VHS collection of horror movies, but Creature is obviously one of my all-time.
I've never
faves.
seen that one. Okay.
And
I'm still working on the Creature and Creature 2. Like those are my
and
two.
I have a
Never seen that.
3D setup with a 3D Blu-ray, so I'm gonna be watching that soon on my
nice.
projector.
Whoa.
Shit. What else?
Creature.
Creature's that
Creature
good, huh?
and
Never heard.
And Revenge of the No,
Yeah.
Revenge of the Creature.
I don't
Creature
know.
2.
Was Creature like an Alien ripoff, or is that its own thing?
No, there's
That's way before Alien.
Oh, it is. Oh,
these are the
okay.
50s movies, man.
Yeah.
What?
I said
Creature is?
80s.
Yes.
Yeah, we're talking 80s. Yeah.
Oh, 80s. Oh shit. I don't know.
80s.
I do like Friday the 13th a lot.
Not Nightmare on Elm
God.
Street movies. Any of those?
Yeah.
First
like
one,
those as
third
well.
one.
I know we disappointed him by curtailing him. He can't have Creature.
Should we come back to
Yeah.
you?
The 80s version of Creature. No.
Yeah.
Let me go look up top 10 horror movies
All
from
right.
the
So
80s. I'll
so
be right back.
Brandon, we'll put Brandon on hold, but like someone remind me to bring
Hey,
back.
I'm using the
All
top
right.
one on that.
All right. So Mock, you're next.
Oh, that's easy. Evil Dead 2 is
Fucker.
Oh yeah.
yeah, that's
It's
one
fine.
of my
Oh,
overlap.
I love that movie.
I'm not going to overlap, so I'm
It's
taking that one
it's
off.
just so you're never bored. There's always shit going on in it. It's funny and a little weird and creepy. I don't know. Bruce Campbell is amazing. Him hitting himself with the plates and doing a fucking flip is amazing.
I don't
Okay.
think
It's
it
all
even
sped
counts
up,
as
too.
horror though, because it's so funny. I mean,
Yeah.
like it's
Yeah.
not.
It's
That'd be
horror
like if I
comedy.
chose- that'd be
Yeah.
like if I
Comedy.
said Tremors.
Well,
And another horror comedy
Sure.
that I'll have to say is my
Yeah.
absolute
All
favorite from
right,
the 80s.
this is real quick. I actually got my wife
Oh,
to come over.
hey!
She can't hear you guys at all, but
Hey.
Give her give her a glass of
throwing
wine.
back the wine, so I got her to come out here.
Yeah.
Or just slap the bag.
Thank you, honey.
Not your bag.
Okay, so my
The
next
wine
the next one is another horror comedy is Return of the Living Dead, just because it
Yes,
was
good
that's
choice.
awesome. Yeah.
that's such a good movie.
That's good.
It introduced the first running zombies, the first smart zombies, first ones that can talk.
Yep.
It's just such a good movie, so well written. It's almost a perfect horror movie. Great
Does it have
ending
a-
too.
Does it have
Yeah.
a guy with a mustache though, or
No, it doesn't, unfortunately.
that movie sucks?
Yeah, and
Neither
great
Creeps
effects.
does though.
Yeah.
But anyway, those are my two favorite. Okay, go ahead,
Nice,
Andrew.
nice, and they're both horror comedies. Interesting.
Yeah.
Hard.
Yeah.
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 All right.
horror
So
Yeah. I'm ready. I'm
I hate
ready.
the fact. All right. So we going back to Brandon.
All right,
Yeah.
Brandon.
He's
All
ready.
right. So
He's
Brandon.
so excited.
All right.
Go, go.
I just read a top 50s, 80s.
All right.
Nah,
So
horror movies.
cheating.
What did the internet tell you?
It
you
jogged
should
my
watch?
memory.
No, that's legit because you
I
don't
knew
remember
this
what
It
guy-
actually-
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
an expert Wikipedia
Actually,
reader.
it's not on this list actually, but one of my faves is Chopping Mall.
Oh, we
yeah.
talked about that's
yeah.
that's a
Love
lot in the
this
documentary.
We talked
The
about
girl
that one.
is in that movie too. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that movie. Yes.
Yeah, I love the movie poster. That is just is one of the good things.
What's the girl in the documentary in the Chopping Mall that it's in the documentary I saw where she kills the bot at the end? She's all
Yeah.
what does she say?
She's
Like,
she's in Fast Times. She's the
yeah,
one
the
that she loves.
cheerleader.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a
The
cheerleader.
cheerleader. My bodysuit fits so much better.
And we're gonna
Was
destroy
that the girl
Lincoln.
from,
All right.
Yeah.
She's from Night of the Comet. The same
Night of the Comet.
cheerleader?
Yep,
Yeah.
same girl.
Love that
Yep.
shit.
Night of
Love
the
it. The
Comet.
Tempest.
That's one of the
little
ones coming.
arcade. We'll
Yes.
bring it back
There
to
you go.
you know the 6 degrees of Tempest.
Yeah.
All right. So Brandon,
Nice.
Chopping Mall,
Yeah.
Great
and-
film. Great film. Dennis
and-
Miller. Dennis Miller's in that.
and number 2.
I'm just gonna throw one out there that I like is fuck, god damn it, I lost it.
All right. We'll come back to Brandon. Bart.
This is
Steve
part
Bart,
of
you're
my,
next.
This is part
Shut
of my
up, Brandon.
ploy.
You're done.
Aliens.
We'll come back to you. Brandon, Steve Bart.
Aliens.
That's one.
That's an action movie.
That's an
Yeah.
action movie.
Sci-fi.
Alien, I
Sci-fi,
would
though.
call more of a horror movie, but
Although it's not
Aliens
quite.
is an
It's
action.
79 though. Yeah.
Yep.
Not aliens though.
Aliens is 80s or is that 90?
I think there's horror elements in Aliens.
There are.
All right. We'll let
pass on that one. But
Netflix
what's
would
your
call
two?
it, would call it horror, but Netflix wise.
Ripley.
Don't
Hot and
judge the
Sweaty.
man. Just let him fucking
Yeah.
say his.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. What's the other one, T-Bart?
Speak.
You
Number
interrogate
two.
part later. What was the question?
Yeah.
What's your
Second
favorite
one. Top
fucking
two.
horror movie from the 80s?
He wasn't born
So
yet.
aliens and then,
born
and then
He was born in 87.
It's,
Yeah, he was
Hey, we watch
3.
stuff from
He was-
reruns.
he was like-
What's yours? What's the second? What's the second
around to
one?
him.
Yeah.
What's the second
Candyman.
one though?
Just give us
Candyman.
another
So
favorite.
that's
horror-
92, right?
it was 80.
Candyman.
Shit.
That's like 92. That's Tony
Candyman,
Todd.
bitch.
He was 5. Could have gone and watched the Candyman.
I'm gonna have to double check my fucking list because apparently
All right, so
I
come
haven't
back
watched
to
horror
C-Bart.
from the
All
80s.
right, come back
So
to Steve Bart.
C-Bart, you said your answers are Aliens
Yeah,
I like
92.
Aliens.
Well, Alien.
and
The first one, Alien.
which is
79, but
We'll
we'll
give that
pass.
to you.
It's a
That's
pass.
fine.
Yeah,
All right,
close.
hold on.
Yeah,
we'll give that to you. No, Aliens is
Let me see
better,
what movies
but-
were actually made in the 80s that I've watched.
I know.
All right, so C-Bart, we'll come back to you. Brandon and C-Bart, you got one.
You're choosing
back.
all the people that are unprepared.
Gak Attack. You're next.
Aliens was
Chris?
86. Thank you very much.
Aliens.
Oh, it was.
That's what. That's
But we're
why we
talking
said
about
it's a.
Alien.
Yeah.
Oh.
So Gak Attack, you're next.
All right, so probably the biggest one that I just remember scaring the shit out of me as a kid. We saw it live in the theater, my mother and I was like scared that night. I couldn't sleep in bed by myself. I'd be like, "Mom,
my
can
God.
I Poltergeist?"
Babysitter.
Yeah,
Babysitter.
I
Adventures.
knew you were going to say that.
First
Yeah.
Please,
horror
dear
film.
God,
Oh,
someone mentioned
That was rated PG.
And then
Yeah.
I have to. I'll do my number 2, but I got to do an honorable mention number 3. So my number 2, I would say, because what I really loved about it was like the music, the punk rockerness, and it had boobies. Return of the Living Dead.
Fuck yes.
Yeah,
So
that was
Return of
good.
the Living Dead, and then
All right.
my honorable mention would be Friday the 13th Part 3, the 3D one.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that
Nice.
too. Yeah.
Ah,
So yeah,
Fair enough. All right.
that would
A
be-
harpoon gun.
Good job.
Yeah.
All right, so Bricktop, you're next.
I'll
Give
probably
it-
my movies are probably from the 70s. I don't know.
No,
I'd
that's
say
not
like,
80s, so you just fail
Yeah.
already.
80s.
but I don't
Yeah,
know.
Moving
I'm
on,
not-
Jimbo
Come
Dini.
on.
All right, but tell us your
I could
70s
go.
ones.
All right,
Tell us
so
your- no, what are your
Bricktop.
70
Give us your movies from the 70s.
All right.
They'd be Dario Argento films. I mean, I like Deep Red, and I
He
like
did some
Suspiria.
80s.
Are those both 70s
No,
films? or
Suspiria. No,
80s?
those are
Suspiria's
great.
80s.
Those, you just named two great films, but
Well,
like,
yeah.
come on. Can't you?
But he
Wrong
thought they were
year.
he thought they were 70s, so they don't count. So you fuck off.
Deep Red, I'm pretty sure is 70s.
Suspiria. I love that.
Suspiria
We
is
tried to
probably
watch
80s.
that. Yeah, we did watch the remake in Grinkers last
Oh
year. but,
no,
like,
no, there's no need for that. A remake. But
It's actually not
anyhow,
bad.
it doesn't. No,
those are the
I
horror
agree,
films
but
I like.
I've seen
a lot.
both.
yeah.
I mean,
What's your favorite color? 13.
All right, so cool. So moving on to no, I'm sorry. So Bricktop, just give us two from the 80s though.
but those, well, I like the second Friday the 13th is good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really good.
Pillowcase. All right.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. That's totally good. And I actually like I like the funny ones, like both the films that Monk mentioned. I mean, those are good films. But I'm not gonna cross over those.
You
those are
can. You
good.
can pick like Gak picked.
No,
Return
you can
of
pick the
Living
same
Dead.
movies twice. Like,
Yeah.
because the problem is, like,
Well, I
you guys
love
have
Evil
knocked
Dead
out
too.
my
Yeah,
favorites
it's-
like a couple
I
times.
watch
Evil Dead 2 is
too
great. Yeah.
So
Yes.
many times.
Both Evil Dead.
Yes.
Me
The
too.
first
I'll
two,
watch it over and over
100%.
again. I can watch it
Yeah.
again right now.
I mean, like Bruce
better than
Campbell
this
has
show.
the.
Yeah,
think
I have it in a window
trilogy.
in the corner either.
Yeah, you could watch those three Bruce Campbell films a million times over. They're so fucking good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Army of Darkness is fun too.
yes,
100%.
absolutely.
It's not
Alright, so-
80s though. So
So Gino, you're next.
Nice.
You know,
I think Hellraiser is probably going to be my first.
Oh.
Is there one?
Ooh.
Oh yes.
Or
That's
two.
a
Great
great
pick.
one, too.
One.
One. Okay.
Good pick.
The
Good
first
pick.
Yep. Solid pick.
Second one, The Prince of Darkness.
Wow.
Oh,
Prince
yeah.
of
That was pretty
Darkness.
good.
It's been a while, but it was.
Isn't
pretty
that,
neat.
isn't
It had
that
creepy
a
ending.
Carpenter movie?
Yep.
Yep, that's totally John Carpenter.
Yeah, yeah.
But their
That's
honorable
a-
mention would go to Christine. That was a creepy
Oh, I
ending.
love that.
Marshall
yeah.
comes back to life, and
Yeah.
they're driving the tractor over it and
Yep.
popping out.
Show me.
Yeah, I was
So good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Show me.
My favorite part of Christine's.
We had a
the-
double feature recently of Christine and Maximum Overdrive at the Hollywood Theater here.
I love Maximum Overdrive.
Nice. That's one of the movies I grabbed, by the way. Maximum Overdrive.
Oh God,
that's
that's
a
a
good
fun movie.
Yeah.
That'd be a fun one to watch.
Thanks for
I haven't
taking my
watched
second
that
answer.
since
Yes, that would
HBO.
be-
Fuck this.
Isn't
in
there
high
a
school.
scene where a dog is dead because a remote control car drove into his mouth?
I don't remember that part.
Oh, he gets ran over by a fucking cement.
Yeah, they
Dog.
showed that in the
Yeah.
documentary, but I can remember there's a scene where they show a dog dead on the grass, and it's dead, and it's got a remote control car that drove into its mouth and killed it.
I don't remember that.
I don't remember that one.
That would
No,
stand
it's just a
out.
dead. It's a dead.
I remember the little army tank shooting up.
Okay,
the
when
gas
we watch
station.
it together, I'm going to point it out and go, "There it is."
I just Googled something
There.
and The
Just,
Shining.
just like the meatball that squirts and
The Shining came out
Yeah,
in
right,
1980.
right,
Yeah,
Funny
you're
little
making
meatball.
It
you're
does squirt a
embellishing your
little bit.
memory.
It
No, it
does squirt a
doesn't.
little. It has a
Not
little bit
at
of goo
all.
that comes out. A little bit of goo
We
comes
watched
out.
it together right after
We
you
did.
said
A little
that.
bit
I'm
of
like,
goo
see,
comes out.
I told you
It was
there
in the
was nothing there.
documentary. A little bit of goo comes out of the meatball.
There was no goo.
You guys know what we're talking about?
I know what you're talking about.
Nightmare on Elm Street. Which one
Yep.
was it? 4?
I was
It
like,
was when he,
Seamock,
he, no, he was eating
nothing.
the pizza because it was
Yeah.
like
Eating the pizza.
Oh,
and he
Rick,
puts
you
it in
little
the-
meatball.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
it, Rick.
And
Yeah.
he eats it, and a little bit of goo, little bit comes out of the meatball in the
there's
corner. There is. Okay, I'm gonna
Carrie
get
can,
still.
Carrie can testify.
I'm
I
gonna
was
get
like,
still
see,
and show you.
We looked for the
asshole.
goop, and there was no goop. But
There's a
yeah,
little bit.
you're like just
Mock's
a little
like,
bit
it
on the side of
squirts
his
out.
mouth.
I
Yeah,
just
like,
saw it
there's
again.
nothing.
so Bricktop. It's true. Shining does technically qualify.
Yeah. Oh my God. So
It does. It's
I mean,
it's right there
that's
on the edge.
kind of too
but-
good. It's not really what we're
Yeah.
talking
I know
about.
no one's mentioned The Shining. That's fair, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
So
That's what I
Jim
get for
Bodini,
Googling.
you're next.
Where's that goo?
I was torn, but between two of the nightmares, but I'll go with Dream Warriors with an honorable mention for Nightmare 1, and then Creepshow.
Yes, creep
Yes.
show.
Oh, yeah, that's a great one.
I could not the originator of the analogy, or the
Anthology. Yeah.
anthology. Thank you.
No, there
Yeah.
was ones before. that.
Tales from the Dark Side was
I
good,
know,
too.
but it was the big one that they did. Yeah,
For the 80s.
for the 80s. Yeah.
Yeah, for the 80s.
And I'm sorry, Carrie. It was literally just like where you were. I'm coming after you
Yeah,
because I want you to come first.
I appreciate that.
So,
Such a
Very
gentleman.
thoughtful of you.
Carrie, you're next. It's literally based on my screen. I swear to God, I've not been mixing up the order.
You're not, yeah, because in my screen, I'm right next to you. So, although I guess that maybe that makes sense. Why?
I think this is be based on what YouTube would see. Is my theory?
All right, I
But
got
was
proof
going
right here,
based on-
fuck face.
Okay. oh,
No proof.
All
Screen
right.
grabbed.
If you go to 1 minute and 18 seconds in the link I put in,
Yeah,
there,
I've seen this
see-
a
All right,
thousand times.
he's bitching about the juice.
When
on
he
the
pulls the
fucking bike.
knife out,
I-
juice comes out of the little hole, a little bit of goop.
Jesus.
I'm telling you.
when he pulls the knife out, I was
It's
thinking
all
when-
about the juice.
He said Mock
It's
was
the-
talking about when he
when
put
he
the meatball
bites
in his
it.
mouth, it squirts out.
Well,
Yeah.
I know.
He
I
bites
was
down.
fucking
exaggerating.
happened.
I was exaggerating.
I
It's
like
like
that you're
biting
like,
the-
yeah,
the
yeah,
There's
but
still
somewhere
goo
else.
inside it. My point was that what does that taste like? That's in his mouth.
I see nothing gooping.
I
There's
see
not one
nothing.
fucking
When the knife
thing.
comes out, the
I
goop comes
see
out of the
nothing.
hole a little bit. So look, 118. Look.
118 is the end of the fucking video, you idiot. It's at the fair.
I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry. Idiot.
Well, you're making the argument here. It's
Hold on,
not-
I'm a little
Oh,
drunk right now.
dear.
Okay, it's at 51 or so when he pulls
Be
the
nice.
knife out.
Be
Yeah.
52,
nice.
51, 52 seconds. Just look. When he pulls the knife out, there's goop that comes out of the hole from the knife, and it comes out. It's something that meat. My point
Yeah, a
was
little
the
tiny
meatball,
ball of
The meatball is
goo.
filled with shit. Is my point. I was
All
trying
right.
to make. All right.
Let me give my
30%.
answer.
Carrie,
Right, so
Carrie, you
Carrie-
remember
yeah.
this.
Carrie needs to answer, and I'm
I
just
was
gonna
only looking for
follow
when he
up.
bites down. Honestly, I
Because
wasn't
Mock
looking
was
for
like,
the
it
It was the
juices
bite down
out.
that I expected
Yeah.
to.
So okay, so actually,
So
so
Carrie's answer.
so I think that
All
I
right,
think
sorry.
Jordan and I are in some ways are on like similar wavelengths because the first two
Simpatico.
movies that came to mind
Cinco de Mayo.
for me were the were 70s movies, which was The
Yeah.
Omen and Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the remake with Donald Sutherland.
Yeah, that one's pretty good.
Good one.
Yeah, I like that one.
But then so I was looking it
But
up
not
really quick.
80s. Yep.
But they
whole
weren't 80s.
pointing
They were
with the
both
mouth open.
70s.
Yep. No,
Oh my
great
God, that
movies.
scene. Yeah.
Great movies, but they're not
I was
80s.
like, I was so.
Everyone's
it's
calling
like-
me so harsh. Sorry, Mark. I called you an idiot.
That's all right.
so
dick.
I wasn't.
So
an idiot. I
the-
said the wrong time code.
So when I went back into the 80s, yeah.
Sorry, Carrie. Go ahead.
That was
So I got.
me.
So I was.
Carrie?
I was thinking Shining actually came to mind, which for me is what is a Christmas movie. Because my daughter and I would watch it every Christmas.
It's like Gremlins.
Some people like Die Hard at Christmas. You like
Right.
The
Well,
Shining.
because it's like you're
Gremlins.
trapped with your family and
too.
it's winter
Yep.
Yeah.
and you can't get away. Like how
Was that 1980? Also, I think like barely squeaked.
It was
in the
80,
80s.
yeah.
That's right up the road from us. Rejects the Timberline Lodge.
Yep.
Oh,
really?
yeah.
I've been to the Salish Lodge.
That's actually where they broadcast, isn't that right?
So the Salish Lodge. Oh,
Yes.
that was Twin
That's
Peaks.
where you guys do your show. Yeah.
So sorry.
And then and I think my other one, there's so many, but I think my other one would be Final Nightmare, Nightmare on Elm Street, Final Nightmare.
Oh, Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
New
Yeah,
Night.
there you go, New Nightmare.
I saw that in the theaters. I remember that one.
It was,
But that's technically 94. I'm sorry.
A little bit late. So reset. Give
Reset.
us new 80s.
Jeez, this is gonna go all fucking night.
I know, right? It's really hard to figure out.
She's the
what
last one
the
besides me, and I have been holding this shit in the whole time.
yeah, I feel like I need to.
I still have to do my second movie too.
Oh, and we got to come back to
yes.
Brandon.
I know.
I just forgot it, so don't.
Okay, I really got to go. So my
He's
second
done.
one is
Okay.
Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. I know it's not a horror, but I was more
That
of a
counts.
horror
It's in there.
comedy guy.
Yeah.
That's in there. It's solid.
Yeah.
Okay, I really got to pee now.
That's legit. Okay, so Seabart's done.
Was it worth
He's
it?
gonna pee.
He's about to wet himself.
Yep.
Maybe, I'll throw out Halloween. I really fucking enjoyed the first
Which one?
Halloween.
Yeah.
That's a
Number
great
one.
one.
First one.
Jamie Lee Curtis. Oh my, that was the first. That was the
Fantastic.
first horror movie that blew me away. That I was like, oh my god, this is awesome. Yeah.
Yep. All right, so Brandon, before I answer my two, what's your number two? What was your number one first, real quick?
I already forgot.
To write it down.
All right,
What did I
fuck
say?
it.
What did
What's
I
your number two?
Can I throw out Scanners just because it's an
I-
awesome film?
Scanners.
Oh,
I thought, why
that's a
not?
great
You
one,
can
too.
see Scanners.
Yeah,
That's
no,
fun.
I literally was gonna say Scanners. I was just staring at it.
That's why
No,
I threw it
Thanks,
out.
Bricktop.
I
Ruined
was
it
just
for him.
yeah.
No.
No,
All right,
my
so-
first one. My first one was Chopping Mall.
Chopping
Oh,
Mall.
that's right.
Honorable
Love that
mention
movie.
is Reanimator. That one's pretty
That's a great one.
Yeah.
disturbing. I
That's
got
a
that on.
Thank you. Yes.
I have that on VHS.
Where the
That's a
head
nice
gives
one.
head.
Where the head does give head. And they actually go into that in the documentary too. Which I
Yep.
loved that they did that too. 'cause,
Yep.
like, that's a great movie. That's on my Plex. So.
They go that. I think that's why
That
it
really
became
seemed
cult
like
status because of that.
to me, I feel like it was really a strong theme in the 80s was like the crossover between sexuality and death and murder kind of
Yeah.
thing. Right? It didn't seem like it was like that after that to me. Like 90s and newer, it's just jump scare kind of like
Yeah.
building up this tension and murder and stuff.
Yeah, I
Right.
like the campy. I
Play
like
with the
campy
music and make it a
the
thing.
campy stuff is what I like. So I don't like the jump scare shit. That's for fucking
Yeah.
pussies.
neither.
So I've remained quiet the entire time. And I gotta say,
Oh.
so my number two and number one. So number one, sorry, my number two, Return of the Living Dead. I
Yes.
fucking love that movie. I know that was a repeat from what Mock said, but that
Yeah.
movie is
I
so
said that
fucking
one,
It's
yeah.
fucking great.
It's
I love the-
amazing. It makes
I
me
love the
laugh
start of that movie.
every fucking time. The music is amazing.
Yes.
Oh, I love the
Fucking-
music. The
the-
opening
the-
music is amazing.
It's so good, start to finish.
Yes.
I
The
love
punk
that movie.
music in it.
Yes.
But
I said that. Yeah.
if I got to pick a number one horror movie from the 80s and no one mentioned it, it's The fucking Thing.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
Of course.
Nobody mentioned The
Oh,
Thing.
I should have said the
Yes,
thing.
that's a
But
great one.
Oh,
that is the
That's
best
honorable
fucking
mention for
horror
me.
movie.
Yeah.
of the
Remake.
80s.
It's
Remake.
so good. It is a
It
remake.
technically is, right?
Well,
Yeah.
I'm
it is
sure, I'm
50s.
sure,
That's
I'm sure in
Seabart's
about
favorite.
10 minutes we're gonna be like, oh, I didn't mention this, or I should have thought
yeah,
of
exactly. I
this.
should have
Putting
thought,
everyone on the
totally.
spot in order, but
Yeah.
like,
Seabart, have you seen the thing, the 80s version? with
But
John
yeah,
Carpenter.
I don't think so.
Go rent it.
What?
Yeah, that's a great film.
It's awesome.
You
There's
can
an
probably
asteroids.
watch
Asteroids
go-
isn't that?
It's not
Go
the
to
thing from
Blockbuster
Asteroids
and rent
Deluxe.
Yep.
I literally waited for all of you to fucking say it. No
How
one
did I
said
not
it.
say The Thing?
Nobody said The
God,
Thing,
I love that
and I'm-
movie.
Well,
You only
again,
gave us 2
me,
picks.
like-
so-
Yep, that's right.
It's
and
so
you
fucking
forget unless
good.
you're looking at a list or something.
I
Well,
know.
let's do it again with 3 picks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's start over. So, Dave, where's Dave from Buffalo?
In the order of the bestness.
I give an honorable mention to Silent Night, Deadly Night. That's one of my favorites. That's my Christmas movie right there.
Christmas movie. Yeah.
That is a great film.
Sleepaway Camp.
Chopping Mall.
Transgender.
Is right there in my
Sleepaway
top
Camp,
10.
another great one.
Yeah, Sleepaway Camp. Yeah, we talked about that
With the
one, too.
transgender, you know, I was ahead of its
The
time.
ending is just
That ending is disturbing. That
For
mouth
sure.
is so big and the wiener's so scary and
Spoilers.
Yeah. So we had a great time. So like
Are you talking about Tremors?
Like, like what we did, this documentary for the 80s horror stuff was fucking amazing. Thank you again, Mock. Like without you,
sure.
it wouldn't have happened. And
that was fun.
Yeah, like it basically is like our first MST3K kind of style like movie night. Dude, we had a great time. Obviously, we can't publish these videos of us talking during them because we're watching a movie that has 1,000 copyright violations on it, so we can't publish it to YouTube. But like, so much fucking fun. We did that on Thursday night and Saturday night this last week. I think we'd love to invite some of our other like PC game night players to join us for more movie nights. We had Jake V, Gabby was watching.
Was she
Starsayer
watching?
was involved. So yeah, so she didn't talk.
She wasn't chatting, huh?
In the
Yeah,
chat,
she-
she didn't involve, but she was watching us while we were watching the thing. So
Yeah, she
so-
wasn't in Discord with us. She was just
she wasn't in
in,
Discord with us. Yeah. So, but like either way, like we had a bunch of our normal like Thursday night players who were like involved with us on Thursday and Saturday, who just wanted to watch movies with us. So I would love to keep watching more movies with you guys. We've been talking about this shit for like years, about doing the MST3K kind of thing of like watching movies and just.
I thought of doing that
Fine.
actually a while ago myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun. Yeah.
It's my idea. So now you have.
Gak, where were you last time?
So thanks for
I was
stealing an idea from
shit-faced
like 2
drunk.
years ago.
That's where I was.
Yeah, that's
Sorry,
right. It
Brendan.
was Margarita Day or
Yes.
something, right? You had
We're wondering where
strawberry
Gak was
margaritas.
because
The in-laws were over. We were throwing back all the margaritas, and I was like, "Oh shit!" They were here till like 9 o'clock anyway, so I couldn't even been on till later. But yeah,
So cool. So I mean, so Bricktop, Brandon, Brian, like, do you guys want to talk?
But weren't we going to get a
about,
tour?
no.
Wasn't Jordan
Your
gonna give
shit,
us-
or do we have another tour coming?
No, my games
or...
are not. I'm not going to give you a tour. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Next
Need a
time.
flashlight.
next time.
Yeah, for sure.
Someday.
Yeah.
You saw my.
Flash it on your phone.
Dave was jonesing for it. Dave from Buffalo. So
Yeah,
next
he's
time.
not even
He's
here.
not even here.
I know, right?
It's only
Dave's
like
not
2
here, man.
a.m.
in his
there.
backyard. And
He's jonesing.
great.
He's
Taking a
he's-
piss and going drive through.
getting a
Getting
pizza
another
pie.
Bud Light.
He just found another.
Looking for another Harbor Freight light in the yard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you
It's
go.
just
Saw a fucking Harbor Freight flashlight glistening in his
Yeah.
peripheral.
Dave used to come on the show and then he'd be on his phone and he'd be driving through drive-through going, "Okay, I'll take a Whopper."
he's on the phone right fucking now.
Yeah, totally. He's ordering
Ordering pizza
phone,
right
he came
now.
He's
back.
done that. Order pizza.
Look, he's wearing our
drive through
shirt.
like Burger King. Yeah.
Guaranteed. He's getting some shit delivered right now.
I'll take a Frosty.
The one I thought was funny was when he'd be in the backyard with his cousin
Oh, yeah.
Brian.
Oh,
Yeah.
And they're like,
God.
you can see like kids' toys like next to him
Yeah,
or
the
something.
Barbie fucking Jeep and stuff.
Like
Yeah.
step like barely out of camera view because they're like pissing in the yard somewhere. You know?
Look dark and cold.
It's
They're like they're
midnight,
pissing
1
off
a.m.
the
in
edge of the
summer
deck,
where
which is
they're at.
just out of frame.
Yeah.
Looks like he's trying to hide from us now. He's like
Yeah.
out,
In the
out
shadows.
around the
shadows.
back of track and field there.
He's hiding over there.
Yeah.
He's wearing some of our fine merch.
And
He
I
is,
see,
yeah.
I see the
Gino,
Bud
we're
Light.
gonna-
Merch that he printed.
We're gonna have to you do a tour of
Exactly.
your like 10 Robotrons one of these days.
Yeah.
Just be
Yeah,
like-
when I get a mesh network in the house or either a really long Cat 5 cable.
Yeah, exactly.
There you
You can
go.
be like broken Robotron, broken Robotron, broken Robotron.
No,
got one
actually,
of
after I
those.
get past, you guys, Jim and you both been to my house, but you get past the kitchen, it's just a dead spot with a Wi-Fi.
Man, that's like 80 inches of Wiko joysticks. Jeez.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is Dave talking to his side
Yeah.
chick?
Yeah, it's like a Robotron graveyard, but he'll resurrect him like
I
Dr.
told you not to call me
Frankenstein.
here.
Yeah.
Well, since we're talking about Robotron, Mock, did you ever get yours all dialed in?
I did finally.
It plays well. Yeah.
Finally.
Did you
Yes.
J-Rock it or did you?
No.
Original
No.
movie?
No.
Don't speak that.
Yeah. No. I maimed it.
Anyone's gonna do it. Would be you, right?
Lover.
No. I just used a lot of what do you call those? What did I do to squeeze in the frame? I forget what those are called. The little I can't. I don't know the right terminology. Whatever you use to turn that screw for the to bring in the
horizontal.
Horizontal. Yeah, that broke.
Width coil.
Yeah.
So I had to
Width
keep
coils are fucked.
soldering on a bunch of the resistors or whatever.
He's got a stack of resistors that's like this high.
Yeah, I had on top of each
Yeah.
other, on top of each other,
Yep.
to squeeze that sucker in.
Yep.
But
fuckers too. Like
You have a fucking decade
big,
box.
like
I
tasty
got it
candy
just enough.
resistors.
Yeah, to get it to
So
do
it's
it.
finally playable now.
And it works great. It's just yeah.
It looks good.
So-
I played it at his house.
Yeah, Andrew came over. He played
Yeah.
it when we did our
plays
LA
solid.
San Diego thing. Yeah. So
And you
yeah,
got
no,
one
it's
that was
great.
in good condition. You wanted one that was original paint on the sides, and
I have one side of it that still has black paint that I got to
Yes.
remove, but it's like it's a hard job to rub off old.
A hard job to rub off.
Right.
Paint,
exactly.
the paint, yeah.
And you got not only did you get original paint, you got bonus paint. Like, not
Yeah,
everybody-
it's a lot of layers to that black paint. So it's like I watched a tutorial. Someone I don't know if it's delusional or somebody was showing a video where they laid it on the side and they put that orange stripper shit.
Oh, the stripper.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
citrus
really
strip.
afraid to use
Yeah,
that
citrus
though because
strip.
I'm afraid to take off
No,
the paint
that's
underneath it.
Yeah,
could
So
be
don't
a
use that.
yeah,
That'll
No,
ruin
could be
it
too
would-
much.
it might be too much, too
Just
abrasive. Yeah.
test a sample on it.
It's
I've
too
done that
racist.
before. It's fine.
So I've been using
Yeah.
just alcohol, like
Citrus strip is
97%.
so wussy.
What is?
Yeah.
I stripped an entire Sinistar cabinet. Same thing, black paint with Mr.
Yeah.
Clean Eraser and rubbing alcohol. It just
Yep.
took forever.
I just
but
use
it came
rubbing
out perfect.
alcohol. Yeah,
you can,
it does take
but
forever,
but you get to like see every step.
yeah, I can
Yeah.
I can bring
Like,
it
you
down
can go
slowly because
Yeah.
that orange shit, I'm afraid it's gonna go.
Citrus-
Oh, wood.
Citrus stuff will either like go too far or maybe not
Yeah.
too far.
Yeah, so you want to go slowly
want-
when you're rubbing it off. in
Yeah,
other
rubbing.
words.
I go
Yeah,
slowly
don't do
always.
quick.
It's not that. It's not that
Sometimes
dramatic.
slow, sometimes fast.
It depends on the wife's
Depends how
coming
much
home.
time I have.
If it's a latex paint over top, it'll go really quick. But if it's anything else, you're fucked.
It depends on what they
Yeah.
used. If they
Yeah.
use an oil-based paint, yeah, you're kind of fucked.
It looks like an acrylic black paint is what it seems like because it's like gooey.
It's like painting on with plastic. That shit. will
Yeah,
just peel
it's
off.
like plastic gooey
Yeah.
shit. So I might be able to get away with it using the orange because it looked real easy to get off using that. You lay it down, you wait a few minutes, and then you scrape it off. And then you could use maybe the alcohol. So I might do that, but I don't know. I'm really afraid to lose the Robotron original paint.
Yeah, worst case scenario, you just have to buy some stencils because that
Ugh,
always goes
paint
easy.
forever.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, exactly.
easy.
They could buy the book. Yeah.
I don't know why people complain about it. It's a piece of cake. You just fucking
Yeah.
And
lay
here's
them on,
the-
just paint.
And the other
They're-
funny
it's
thing
so
is,
easy.
Do you guys remember Zhao from John's Arcade
Yeah.
from that
No, who?
podcast?
Yeah.
Huh, I
So
don't remember that guy.
well, I'm talking to Brian, Brandon, and Bricktop here. So anyway, I bought the Robotron from Zhao or Joe, and he gave me a brand new control decal or decal, as Seabart would say.
That's CPS.
Yeah, CPO.
And I haven't changed it out yet just because I find it charming that I see cigarette burns on the right. Am I
No.
weird?
Nope.
No, you're not
Nope.
weird at all.
I have
As long
to
as
get
it
it
doesn't,
kind of funny.
I like that way.
I
Yeah,
know
as long
people
as it
come
doesn't
over, they
affect-
see it. And, no, it doesn't affect the game, or
Yeah, then
that's the only
leave
thing
it
that's on it. Yeah, so I
That's
do
the way
have it
people
for
play.
if I want it. And
They left their cigarette on the control panel
Yeah.
and played their game, and then when they're done, they picked it up
And
again.
it's-
with the
And
That's funny.
oftentimes
buttons in it.
those original control panels from 30 years ago are fucking rock solid, and the
Yeah.
yeah,
hose
I just cleaned
Yeah.
them up and they look
they
great.
may
yeah.
fuck up in a year.
I mean, you saw them, Andrew. They didn't look that bad,
they
right?
will fuck up in a year.
Yeah.
They will fuck up.
I do have brand new grommets in there though. Those are that's a must.
That's all
Those
below
new not those
board.
stiff ass
underneath
ones, right?
So Gino, yes, everything's awesome on it. So
yeah,
I'm really
if the
happy.
cigarette burns are the worst of it, then yeah, I'd believe it. If you ever have to try to remove one of those Williams CPOs, there's so much adhesive underneath. It takes forever to clean. You're gonna
even with a heat gun,
put that shit in
it's
the
awful.
It's horrible. You'll be there all day.
I just take the grain of the wood with me. Fuck it, throw it all away.
Burn the fucker.
Yeah.
That's right.
And then put Bondo on it again and start all over.
Bondo.
Yeah. Rather strip a whole side of the
Probably
cabinet
not.
than take off a Williams control panel.
There you
Really?
go.
Okay, so there. I'll just wait until.
Just leave it. If it's fine,
I'll just keep it for the next person. If I don't ever want to sell my Robotron though. It's one of my favorite games. I still play it all.
Don't sell that. That's one of the
Kinda
best games.
It is.
I've had
Best
two
risk
of them.
reward game ever.
for sure.
Hey, Brandon, you had
control
two?
panels have cigarette
Yeah, I had
burns.
two, and I sold one, and
You
I
missed it.
kept the broken one. No, I mean,
Oh,
I had two
you
at the
had
same time.
to.
Yeah, and then yeah, I'm leaving the CPO on that too. I mean,
Yeah.
it has some cigarette burns, but it's not in the gameplay area. And
Someday I do want to replace the ROMs with the what is it called? The tie
If
dye
you
or
actually
rainbow
play
or whatever
that
the
well.
fuck it's called.
Yeah,
Yeah, if I can ever get that far,
Yeah.
where I need a more to all the lives that I've collected now have to switch over to a number.
I'm not changing my ROMs until I can get that far in the game.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like major
exactly.
havoc. It's like fuck it. I'll just stick with
Yeah.
the basic ROMs. I can't get that far anyway, so
Yeah.
I'm not going for the advanced levels because I can't do it.
But people that come over that do play it though do get hooked into it, so that's kind of fun to watch because it's such a fun game. Fun reward.
Once you understand that basic game, the game is so much fucking fun.
Hearing the sound effect when you pick up the people is addicting. Dun, 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 dun.
You realize that like the bonus scores and how it works, and it's like, oh, it's like Pac-Man, but it's
addicting.
Like, oh yeah, but like it's not as hard
like,
as Pac-Man.
It's not about killing. It's about saving.
It's about saving.
It's about saving lives.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like
Saving
our
the human
world
race.
right now.
That's right. Save the last human family.
Yeah.
It's a family.
Corona
it's a family
2020.
game.
Robotron has just been prepping for Corona.
Yeah.
COVID.
The COVID edition.
COVID 48.
Yeah.
Yes.
Totally.
that,
God.
that fucker in the suitcase has all the masks.
Nice.
Brandon, we're like, why? If you're running from like robots, killer robots, would you be carrying around your briefcase?
Hell yeah.
And walking so casually.
Walking so
Casually. Just
And where are they headed?
Just waiting to get eaten by the green fuckers.
We're turned into like what are they called? Noids or whatever.
Yeah.
Dave's still on the phone, huh?
Yeah.
Dave,
he's talking poker.
Is he
Right.
ordering
He's
pizza
gotta be- he's
or
got a poker boner right now.
Yeah, he's got a poker boner. You know it is. He's trying to recruit people for tomorrow. I know it.
I want a sausage. I want pepperoni.
One hell of a pizza.
Extra cheese.
He finally lined up a buyer for his Targ machine, so he's all excited.
There you go. That's what it is.
That's gonna be hard to sell that fucker. Targ.
Like two 18-inch pies or 3 6-inch pies. Which
Be stuck with that Targ for a long time.
You delivered
cool
Bud
game,
Light?
but not really.
I don't think so.
Good luck, dude.
I want a hamburger. No, a cheeseburger. I want a hot dog. I want a milkshake. I want potato chips. Nothing and like it.
All right, so Brian, Brandon, and Bricktop, like we're still on for another like 45 minutes an hour.
Yeah, I'm not staying that late.
You said that at the beginning of the show. You're like, fucking hour. I'm not going to.
You're having such a good time, you can't leave.
You are.
We used to do this shit for like 5 hours.
No, thank God we don't.
This is like, no, we're not doing that
scared
shit.
me away.
Yeah.
Not on a school night. Not anymore.
I know.
School.
Bet
We've
you're back in
learned
the
our
old
lesson.
days.
School night.
That was
I gotta
back
go
when
to
everything was new.
Yeah.
Now we know each other. Like, oh, you're not that interesting. You're not.
No, we've heard your stories before.
Exactly.
Oh,
I
have
hear
to
about
get up early and
Wyoming.
go to work
again.
tomorrow.
Why
Oh,
the
no,
fuck
I
did we
don't.
talk about Wyoming for like 10 minutes to begin this show anyway?
10 minutes. I think it was like an hour.
Boring.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Welcome to Wyoming Hangout.
Christ.
Welcome to the Wyoming haters.
So, what do you guys want to talk about? Like, what are you working on? What's your thing on the podcast? Like, where are you going with the
I
rejects?
just restored that reactor in a week. It was like bare wood when I got it, and now
That's exciting.
Awesome.
yeah. I can tell you the stickers on the game if that's what people are excited about.
Cool.
No.
Stickers are awesome.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, restores are, they're kind of overblown unless you're like, I don't know what. I like electronics.
You can suck a dick.
Out
of my restores.
Yeah, I know where I found you.
Grinder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always been more into like the electronics repairing side of the games, and that's not really that exciting to talk about. Like just like fumbling or
I think that's more interesting.
Oh, it's super exciting to talk about.
Well, not when I do it, because for me it's just like fumbling around in the dark trying to like figure out schematics for hours on end, and then like kind of going out on a whim, and then okay, I guess I got it. Good job.
Oh, it's like
You gotta work on your delivery, my friend.
Yeah, it's like a glory hole. You just never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah,
and
until
if you
it
get
works.
something, you just gotta go with it.
But sometimes
you like it, but you gotta finish.
You plug along
randomly
for a
going
while,
around sticking his dick and stuff, or what is that what you're
and
saying?
then
Yep.
I'm a metaphor.
There we go. There's a sweet spot.
Until there's a happy ending.
Yeah.
Then you just have to.
You gotta
try
work it to
another
the
day.
finish.
You have to just like regroup and what am I going to do next time? I don't know. That didn't work, so maybe I'll think about something weird or something, and then it'll work the next time.
Sweet.
I guess if I had a basement, I wouldn't care too much about how the exterior of my games look because they're not in the fucking living room. But but
is that a
but,
diss?
Yeah, no.
That feels like a diss.
Yeah.
I might, if they're in a dark basement, maybe I wouldn't care as much.
No,
about
no,
the size.
Bricktop. I'm pretty sure you and I just got dissed. He's like, if I was in a dark garage or like a basement, like I wouldn't care what my games look like.
Unfortunately, we don't buy.
Yeah.
As long as the monitors look good.
Yeah, I don't think we buy shit games to begin with, so we don't have to like.
Well, there are priorities.
put all
Yes, the
these
monitor and
stickers and
controls
stuff
are
on
number
it.
one.
Yeah, but
the game has to.
That
be
is
played.
true.
Just get a game in decent condition to begin with, and then you don't have to like spend your next 3 lives sanding the sides.
Hey, I'm at that point now in this hobby where I'm at that point now where I don't want to restore the next game that I get. Like I want it to be at least decent enough.
So your big blue needs to be like basically like perfect before you buy it.
That's going to be tough because it's already tough enough to find the one I want.
Yeah.
I know.
But what I'm talking about,
but like you're not
Super
going to buy
Punch-Out.
the next one until it's like perfect.
Well, no, I'm talking about I was referring to like Super Punch-Out.
Oh. All right, fair enough.
Because if I'm getting rid of Marble Madness, I want it to at least be to the point where maybe I have to replace the side art, but not the whole fucking side.
You're not going to do a bunch of restoration. So Jim,
no, because the more cabinets that I add with every project, I have less space to work with.
Right. So you're at that point. So what the fuck is your next project?
It'd either be the Big Blue or selling
the Big Blue
or swapping out, selling / buying or trading for Super Punch-Out.
Right. And
So,
at that point though, you'd buy
the
like
only
Super
game I can only add
Punch-Out.
one more.
You'd buy like a Super Punch-Out that would need like some major restoration work, and that would be the only project you'd buy at this point.
I really don't want. Yeah, I don't want to, but, that's a more common game, and I think there's more possibilities for condition with something like that. In the ideal world, I would work out a trade deal for Marble Madness because since they're kind of in the same value right now, but the chances of that happening are slim because
you're gonna find unequal.
Someone you'd have to find someone that's looking for a Marble Madness and wants to
trade the Super Punch.
Yeah, but I have space for one more cabinet. And that's it. And that's Big Blue. That's for Super Turbo and Hyper Fighting Street Fighter. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. So Brandon.
Yeah.
Question to you.
What?
Like, what's your next game? Like, what's your next restoration?
I'm working on Space Invaders right now, so it's torn apart. I just fixed the Space Invaders a couple days ago. So.
Give me a break, man. They got fucking Space Invaders in here.
Yeah, buddy.
You have the one that has the colored gels in it?
That would be deluxe, and no.
Yeah. Okay.
But
so you're, just pure Space Invaders. Yeah.
Yeah.
Purist.
Although I was thinking about getting the deluxe gel on there because that's pretty sweet.
It is cool.
I've heard people talk about doing
the
those,
OG What's that?
I've heard people talking about doing especially like Space Invaders, like they upgrade the stereo system or whatever, the speakers and amp or something, where it's like even more like doom,
just more
like, freaking
they add a
shaking
sub
the room.
to the bottom of the cabinet like a pinball machine.
They put a polk speaker down there.
There's a polk separate sub.
Fucking
holes in the bottom.
Is this fucking Pinside or something? Jesus,
Yeah,
I mean, I don't want to fucking sub in Space Invaders.
Yes.
Damn.
So loud as it
it's
to your body.
I know.
fucking
I
loud.
agree.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So
Hey,
Brian,
Dave's back.
Yeah.
what's your next big project?
I don't know that I have a big project. I think right now my major project is getting my monitor from 720 working. It's out at the moment, and I'm not
Just dead.
Just dead.
Is it an original 40? Was it 46, 47?
Nope, I've still got that one. That one was having problems too, but it's
Yeah.
it's a Nano from a Virtua Fighter in there now.
Oh, you put a Virtual Fighter 3, like one of their, or Vir2, like one of the multi.
Yeah, one of those ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Model 2 stuff was
Yeah, I know what you're
medium
talking
res
about,
or
yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
They did.
I wanted to grab one of those machines just to throw that fucking monitor on the shelf. It's like, who cares about Virtual Fighter 2? I got to restore a 720.
Yeah.
So
I get you.
that's, that's on my list right now, and I'm not that greatest at monitor repair, so it's a lot of, like Jordan said, banging your head against the wall trying to figure out what's going on.
You're right there with
You know somebody who can give you some tips. How to avoid doing a cap kit by Gag.
That's right.
My buddy Tron guy.
Just get rid of it.
Have local buddies you do trades with.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. My
So
buddy
Dylan, I gotta
Tron
give a
guy.
big quick shout out. So Dylan, he knows that I'm working on the Major Havoc repo board for my. So I've got a working Major Havoc repo or conversion repo.
Idiot
but I
face
have,
fuck.
But I have I have a working
would be like
I have a
possessed.
working Major Havoc conversion. However, I have the repo of the board, and I've got a buddy who's hungry for work.
I'm going to use that.
Who does electronics work, who wants to stuff the board. So I'm like, dude, I will give you money to stuff this board. So I just spent Jesus Christ.
So
I just spent
You
300
stuff that board.
Wait,
$300
how is your repro board working if it doesn't have components on it?
Nothing. It's blank right now.
Oh, okay.
But you have a different
But
working.
I have the board.
Major
So
Havoc.
I have
You
the,
have two boards.
Right, yeah. How
Free
big is
board.
it?
My Major Havoc works right now.
It works
And
as a
you got a
board.
reproduction board.
I have, but I bought one of the reproductions that they did on Cloud.
Finish the game!
Those, like
Why did
3-4
you do
years
that?
ago.
That's a hell of a lot of work for
that
what? You already
Tronic?
have it. Yeah.
That
yes.
would be Gino. Ding, ding, ding. Oh, Mark
So-
doesn't have his bell.
Oh, ding, 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 ah! Ding, 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 ah!
You okay there, Brian? Looks like you're getting attacked by something.
A buddy of mine
love
is out
that.
of work right now. Who does
See my
electronics
bell.
Works, and
I
like,
know,
Pretty
we want you
sure
to
what
have your
I
bell.
know what he needs to bring out.
I bought the board thinking like this would be a fun project, and then I was like,
Hell no.
Logic probe.
that doesn't sound like fun anymore.
Bring in the logic probe.
There we go.
Got a buddy who,
Just for you, guys.
Thank you.
who has stuffed boards. Like, he's an electronics engineer. He fucking does this shit. He's like, this is like boring, but he's like, he's looking for work, and I can give him some extra money. But I just spent $400 at Mauser, 150
Jesus.
at Unicorn.
You could have bought the fucking just board.
I
at that
know.
point.
Don't fucking get me started.
Yeah.
I have a working board in the machine.
So
behind me.
Andrew, $400 at Mauser. Does that mean you get a box this big instead of this big?
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much. I'll take pictures and share them on Slack. when I
Ooh,
get there.
Mauser porn.
You can see the Mauser one.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
fucking
just surprised that
stupid.
you can figure out the fucking Mauser site enough to order $400
my God.
worth of parts. Because
It's
I'm
Such
just,
a pain in the
it would, for
ass.
me, it would be
There's-
$400
there's
to
one-
order the
there's
right
about
thing. So I
500
order like
filters.
3 of each of
Well,
them.
right.
Yeah.
Well, and
Yeah.
the big part is too is like you want to buy stuff where it makes sense too. So you look for the price points. So it's like if you're ordering 5, it's like 10 cents per part. But if you order 10, it's 2 cents per part.
10.
So you just get the spares.
So
You got to
bought
look at
enough-
all the price points
Yeah.
every time you order one part.
Right.
So you
Yeah.
bought enough things to make like half of 5 Major Havoc boards.
Yes. Because it becomes stupid not to like. Why wouldn't you just
Well-
order the extra parts?
And then the problem with Mauser is that only like half their parts have accurate photos or photos at
the
all.
parts are
And so you're kind of going by that. I'm going to order this. Oh wait, minimum order is a bulk, or that's for real, or they're out of stock, or
they're out of stock on a lot of stuff. Yep. And you got to find replacement parts. It's been a huge exercise. I started this Major Havoc thing, I bought it like when they were fucking available on Claw.
When you're in Wyoming.
Like 2 years ago, probably in Wyoming, yeah. But like I started it properly about 6 months ago, and Dave and I have been going back and forth with Mauser orders and shit from fucking Unicorn and trying to trace down all these parts. Anyway, I think we've got most of it, and I gotta throw a big shout out to Tron Guy, aka Dylan, who is sending
Gax Buddy.
Yeah,
Gax Buddy Tron Guy, aka Dylan, who's sending me. I paid him for, and he's sending me a bunch of parts that are worth for less than.
Okay.
You slipped
He's
in your.
He's giving me a great deal
into his-
on some of his leftover stuff that he had from his build.
Ooh, it's sloppy seconds, huh?
I'm getting some sloppy
tasty and
seconds.
delicious.
Dylan's great. He's Mr. Golf, big tall guy.
Dude,
I mean,
I fucking love that guy.
absolutely.
He's been amazing. He
taught my son.
golf.
My son was taking a golf course in golf class.
Yeah,
He
he's
did.
sending me a fucking printout from the Major Havoc board that's gigantic that he did on his plot printer.
Oh, that would make
Wow.
it so
colorized.
He's a nice
to
guy.
help.
For sure.
Dude, Dylan is a fucking amazing guy.
Yeah,
like,
he really is.
I just want to shout out to him. He's fucking amazing. So anyway, so we're working on the Major Havoc board. That's going to be the big deal. My Major Havoc is working-ish right now, but I'd love to have a backup board, and putting together this like real board has been a huge project. So that's what I'm working on right now.
So are you doing spinner, or are you doing the
I have both.
Tempest. Okay.
So I have both. So I have the
Roller
Takeman.
controller.
I bought the Takeman roller years ago, and I actually have a Takeman control panel up in the fucking rafters here. But I like the spinner better. I know it's probably some sort of blast.
I'm with you. I like the spinner better
Precision.
too.
It's the precision. It's the fact that like I can dial the roll the spinner back and forth very quickly. The roller is like effort.
It's not like you don't get that much movement in the game, anyways, though. So
but like it's just with the roller. And I haven't played it a bunch. I have both. Again, I have the Takeman and the control panel. I want to try both, but
Did you ever
my
play Major
experience
Havoc
with-
back in the day, Andrew?
no, not back in the day.
So for me, it was I think maybe twice I saw one was dedicated with the roller.
Me too.
Oh, so you played with the roller.
That's how I
Yeah.
played it too.
Me too.
In the arcade.
I played it dedicated.
All right.
I
So
agree
I
with
played
Andrew, though. I
conversions
think
later.
if you have the spinner, you have more control over it.
Yeah, you
then
can do it by your
roller,
fingertips.
That's for bling.
What do you know, Gino? Kick him out of the room.
Everybody
It
plays
takes
on
some-
the roller.
See, but it
Nobody's,
takes some guts because
Tempest.
the cool thing is to say it's the
the
roller.
yes.
But I like the spinner better too, and I didn't play back in the day, and
Yep.
I've played them both, as a grown up, and I actually first time I played Major Havoc, it was with the roller, and I was like, you guys are gonna hate me, but I'm like, I don't get it. Like I'm not. This is kind of a dumb game. And then actually it was at Arcade Expo.
I thought we were friends, Carrie.
I know. Friends can be honest and not reject each other.
Right.
Oh.
And it was
okay.
it was Arcade Expo, and I played it
Idiot
with
face.
I played it with the spinner. My mind was blown. Like I enjoyed it so much more with the spinner than I did with the roller. And I
Kind
know
of
it's not
funny,
cool.
hearing Mock talk about that because he can pretty much play any game with the Star Wars yoke controller. He's playing freaking Marvel
the Tron
Madness.
joystick.
My
He's
main
like Marvel
cabinet
Madness
does.
with a Star Wars yoke.
My main cabinet, I have a trackball that you can play Major Havoc with, which is like a roller, and I have the push up and down spinner that you can also use. And you can't
Tron
play
joystick. He
Yeah,
actually
the Tron
uses the steering
joystick.
wheel most of the time. Yeah.
Fucking 747.
that. Now I don't have
a giant like a bus steering wheel.
Brandon, if you could see
He's got,
his,
like,
his,
fold-out
his
wings on
control
the control
panel,
panel to
it's
give you all this
hilarious.
extra-
It's
like one of those.
funny.
It's like one of those
Yeah,
fucking mission
main-
control
the main
flight
cabinet
decks.
that Mock,
Yeah.
the main cabinet that Mock has. What you don't know is that's actually his cabaret. The full size is in his backyard.
Right.
I remember I was asking him, like, Ma, can we see your control panel? He's like, oh, I don't know.
You
And then
don't
he
want to
did
see
and
it.
we're like, oh my God, look at this thing.
It's a 4-player MAME cabinet with
great.
But 12 people can really play if they crowd around tightly.
Yeah.
No, it's wide enough you can play anything 4-player. It's great.
You
Play
put a
steeplechase on
720
there.
joystick on it too.
I have a Tron joystick on it so I can play discs of Tron.
How about the 720 though? You need the.
No, I don't have
yeah.
that. But I'm working on it.
You're doing that with the trackball.
Keith's gonna 3D print him everything he needs.
Yeah. Yeah. Back then when I was building it though, was a whole, I wanted to play everything. So I tried to put everything in it, which doesn't aesthetically look great, but what are you gonna do?
It's awesome.
Gotta go watch some bad horror movies. Gotta go. So.
Yeah.
Hey Brandon, well thanks for hanging out with
Thanks,
us.
brother.
All of you guys.
Yeah. And Brian and
Time to shut it
Bricktop, thank you for joining us tonight. I hope you guys had some fun tonight.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do a part 2 game room tour at some
There we
point.
go.
Here.
Nice.
Yeah,
I'd love to
good.
see more.
We'll send you out with some men in
All right.
tights here.
Wow! Toodaloo! Au revoir! Auf Wiedersehen! Ciao! Ding dao day!
They're East Coast, right?
No, they're Oregon.
They're mid coast.
Mid?
They're West
it's
Coast.
only
They're
10:30.
mountain.
Northwest.
That's fucking 10:30.
here.
Yeah.
Is it 10:30 for you guys?
Yep.
I gotta
You
wake
heading
up
out
at
to
6.
Bricktop?
Yeah.
He's gone.
Boy,
Oh,
he's
wow,
like-
he was
he did
quick.
a,
I want to hear
the
the
girl
other.
with the
He's out.
wine. She left.
All right, see
Well-
you guys. It was fun.
All right.
Okay,
Good night.
take
Here's
care.
the tail.
guys.
See you, Brian.
It was nice having
Thanks for
you.
joining.
Hang
See you,
out,
Brandon.
All right.
Wow.
And then
Thank
there were
God we
9.
got rid of those guys.
All right, now let's talk about them.
And really loosen up.
Did they
Well, it's
really?
funny- Yeah.
Did they prep for this show, or were they just like fucking around here? Because like it felt like a little bit like they were fucking around.
Yeah.
I hope they were
I'm just
fucking
kidding.
around.
That was actually very fun.
Yeah.
That was super fun.
Yeah.
No,
No, I'm just 100%.
It's like
I hope
when,
they
it's
had
like when we
fun.
have the arcade radio folks on here. It's like
Yeah.
you see a different side because they're like, oh, I don't need to. I'm not under pressure. I don't need to be in a certain personality or
Yeah.
mind my p's and q's and
Yeah. We don't have rules
A Time Runner hasn't been on here in a while.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
here and there, but not.
I was on their show when they had Zyla on. Crafty, I think.
Oh yeah.
Oh, in the
was there,
chat.
I caught the end of
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I was in the chat, chatting it up.
Yeah, I caught the
and,
beginning. Mark,
a
what
lot of
did you
people are
think
in the chat room for that.
What did you think about Zyla's thing when she was talking about? I only watched like a couple minutes.
Wait, when was this?
Just last week.
Yeah.
She was talking about the
We were doing
Dragon
movie
Slayer
night.
Yeah.
Dexter.
It was right before movie night.
Okay, so let me give you some backstory
I
on
watched a
that.
little bit of that.
So
Yeah, because
Zyla
you're the
was
Dragon
going-
Slayer guy. and
Zyla
she-
was talking about how bad Dexter, how she hates it. Now, the backstory of that is that Zyla and I went when we were at Grinkers. We both were chatting and we walked over to Dragon Slayer together. And I told her Steve has a Dragon Slayer in here, but he's using a different ROM setting where it's not the factory one. It's set to the harder difficulty where after you clear the first like 6 levels or so, it jumps in difficulty and the timings are off.
I
But-
agree because I felt like I couldn't complete
You
it.
can't. It's almost impossible. I don't know what those moves are. I don't know how they were programmed in. It's just ridiculous.
Okay, so you agree with the Dexter wasn't the same as the laser disc
because
I could always like
yeah.
boards like I could totally complete, and I felt like, man, am I that drunk? I'm not
Here's the
that
thing:
drunk.
is that the when before he put in Dexter, I was able to beat Steve's Dragon Slayer. I could beat it, and Steve could too. Steve could beat it. But once he put in Dexter, I don't know what ROM setting and weird shit, but there's certain levels you just can't get through. And we both, Zyla and I both know the moves for that game inside and out, and she couldn't get through it either. And so she was like yelling at it, so fuck this game.
So,
that was just
so
this past
the
year.
difficulty setting
I still have
changes the
problems with
timings.
mine.
Yeah.
I still have problems with mine. Like I can beat it. I know the fucking moves. I know every level. I can do them, but I've never finished my Dragon Slayer.
And you should be
On
able to.
Dexter.
I should be able to.
If I play it on
Dexter
Dragon Slayer, I
Merlin.
can. Yeah.
Mine's
So-
Dexter Merlin.
So it's completely it's all because you were
Well,
talking about difficulty level. Like
It's
does
weird.
di-
It's weird. It's like the timings get changed, or it's
They
like
get fucked up.
tighter, or it's like they're
only on
looser.
Dexter, but not on the original.
I don't know.
Yeah. It seems
Well,
like.
it's like
I
I've
didn't
only really
like
played
Steve's.
mine on like fully hardcore on Dexter.
Now, here's the other thing. If I play it on my main machine on Dexter, it's fine. I'm talking about the I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Wait. Let me reverse that.
Dexter
Daphne emulator.
Oh,
the Daphne emulator. That I can
which is a computer,
fine.
right?
Daphne's fine. That's
right,
an
so-
emulator for the computer. It runs exactly like the Laserdisc did.
Yeah. But mine is Dexter Merlin.
Dexter is that little board thing, and it's
so mine's the.
I have
the
not been able to
replacement for
beat a Dexter ever on anybody's machine. I can't do it.
Fuck
I don't
you,
know what
Dexter.
Yeah,
and I've definitely been able to play through. But like, so mine.
I consider myself a
It's a
Dragon Slayer
fuckster,
expert.
is what it is. It's a fuckster.
Okay,
So
if I
then
can,
what's the point then if nobody's beating it? I mean, if
I
it's gonna be
don't
ramped
know.
up
Maybe
so
it's a
hard.
setting or
I don't
something.
know. I don't know what it is on it, but there's something.
Is
I've
nobody
told
talking
Keith,
about
and
this? Is this like
he doesn't know.
don't ask,
and-
don't tell thing? Oh, this is so wonderful,
No.
but nobody's.
Yeah,
it's not as great as everybody's saying.
I don't think it is. Yeah,
Well, no.
unfortunately, I don't.
But we don't know what the problem is.
I don't know what the issue is.
There's
because
some
I know.
issue where it's like I fucking made that move. At the
So
right
there
time. I
are
know
settings in
this
it to
move.
make it harder. I'm wondering if that's what's on. Is the harder
default
difficulty?
one
But
is
there's
the
something
hardest.
fucked up. Yeah.
Do
they-
they have
No,
a
the
forum?
default-
Are
okay,
people
there's a-
talking about this on a forum that you could?
They
Is it
have.
the Dragon
and
Slayer project.
There's.
Probably.
I talked to. What's his name on that?
Jeff Kinder, right?
Kinder, yeah. So out of the factory, I think it was L3 settings or something like that. It's right out the factory door settings. That's the one that like we all know, right? And then about a year later, they put out a ROM update that made it way harder. The levels start earlier. You don't get a chance to even hardly see what the next level is before you got to do a move. So that's how you can instantly tell that you're on the harder difficulties. It's usually after you clear six levels or so. Do you have that on yours, Andrew? Does it like jump a little bit? Like
There's a thing where the difficulty ramps up.
Ramps up, and it shouldn't. It should be
It
consistent.
should stay consistent.
Yeah. So
And I've beaten it before. I know the moves. I know everything, and I get to a point where it's like I'm doing that shit right.
Yeah, you know you're doing it right.
But then you have to lube it back, and then it takes you back, and you have to replay a bunch of shit.
Lube.
If you die any levels in Dragon Slayer, it throws them at the very end of the game.
Yep,
So
you have to play
once
them
you've
again.
beaten all the levels and the repeat ones that are mirrored, it'll play those ones that you've died on, and that's how you know you're at the dragon. You're like, okay, once I beat these, I know it's the dragon's next. But it's like simple moves. It's like two moves in a room, and it won't, and you die, and you're like, this isn't right.
And I've never even gotten the dragon on this one.
Yeah, it's not right.
Oh, that's what's
So
the point,
I've never
then?
even gotten the dragon on this one, and I 100% have.
If
done the
anybody
dragon
that's
before.
an expert out there can tell me why that is,
And I'm
I
not
will
an expert,
retract
but I
my
know those
statement.
levels.
But I can beat Dragon Slayer with almost all my lives, and that's how I did really well at the Grinkers tournament. Is I got all the way to the end. I think I lost one life. I got to the very end to the dragon, and then I kill myself at the end at the very last move, just so I can get a really high score. Yeah.
So what's the point of the Dexter board versus the original boards? It allows you to eliminate the laser disc.
It's just a laser disc replacement, laser dick replacement.
Yeah.
Laser
and
dick.
Zyla was complaining that she thinks that
was a deleted scene from Chopping Mall.
The frame files, she says are a little blurry.
Laser vagina.
She says they're a little
That sounds
blurry
painful.
compared to the Laserdisc ones. So,
Do you agree with
I don't
that
know.
statement, though, Mock? That they were
I think
blurry?
they look good.
They are.
I have
a
no
little
problem with the look
blurry,
of.
a little bit. Yes, they look better on Laserdisc a little bit. I think. Yeah,
Interesting. All right.
a little bit better.
I haven't compared mine like A, B on both of them, but I've never been disappointed. I mean, I played mine when I first got it on Laserdisc.
Mhm.
It looked beautiful.
Well,
I would
when
say that my playback on this one looks great.
Well, when I got the frame files for Daphne, I could tell differences in the quality compared to like the Laserdisc or the not laser, the DVD even. Yeah. So there's
I need to
differences.
have you out here basically to play this one to see what
and
the
see
differences
what's
are.
wrong, what
Yeah.
levels are at. So Keith has the same issue. Keith has exactly the same issue that Steve Barbie has.
Yeah.
I go, Keith,
I play
you know
his too.
you know these levels.
Yeah.
How come you can't beat it either? He goes, I know, we gotta mess around with it or something. I gotta play with it more, figure it out. And
Oh,
he
I
just
hate this.
never
How
has.
come nobody's because I couldn't do it at Quakers either. I figure it's just the beer.
Nobody can.
But
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, this sucks. Like,
Steve couldn't either. Steve
Yeah.
knows Dragon
And
Slayer
Steve
as
can,
well as
yeah.
I do. Yeah. And
Yep.
he goes,
Oh my
I can't
God,
can't figure it out either. I don't
That's
know
a
what's wrong
big
with it.
flaw.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And I'm a
That nobody's
novice,
talking
but like I
about it. Should be-
understand, but like at the same time, it's like I'm doing basic fucking scenes where it's like,
Yeah.
oh,
Mhm.
Like the ball one is a perfect example. You know,
Exactly.
you go down, down. At the very end on the purple one, you go up, and then you'll die right
and
there.
you fucking die. Yeah,
Yeah,
It's like-
that's
it's like,
one of the
this
problems
is
on that board.
simple.
Yeah, that's a
This is
problem.
like basics, and it doesn't work.
God.
Yeah, that's an easy level.
Yep.
You should go through it easy.
Yep.
So
All right,
I don't know what the issue is. I don't know.
I don't either. But should we kill this tonight?
Maybe.
Oh, can I quickly? Well, you guys.
Oh,
saw
dude,
my
please
pic-
talk about your mold.
man, I
talk
waited
about
way
it.
too fucking
wanna
long
see your
to talk
cock mold.
about this. So, and
How many?
By
Can
the
you
way,
produce? Because I want one.
by the way, yeah, which makes that doesn't make any sense.
When I get a Wonka,
Yeah, it does when you look at it.
He's gonna shoehorn into his Ghostbusters cast.
Yeah, sell your Ghostbusters, get a Wonka.
So let me
worth more before I sell it.
Let me preface this first by saying this was a complete experiment because I don't want to tell the whole story, but the purpose of this, I had a 3D printed part that broke. It's for a mod on Wonka, and so it's an aftermarket thing. This was the original part. It's this pipe that comes out of this factory. The ball passes through. It looks fucking awesome. But this little part that wraps around the railing snapped when I was moving it. And at the time, I didn't know if I was going to be able to get a replacement for this from Mesomods or, with the quarantine. And since these are kind of, you don't know how many runs they're doing of these parts, and it's a 3D printed part. So long story short, I looked for all the options. They're all really expensive. And then someone gave me the idea to do a mold. And so I went online. I found a really good website that specializes in silicone molds for whatever. It could be masks, could be body casts, could be parts like this, could be whatever. And I talked to one of the representatives. We went back and forth, and he told me what to order. It wasn't that expensive. I think I spent about $100 total for everything, including some clay, the silicone, the cast, which is a urethane. And I watched. They have a bunch of videos on their website, and which helps. So, by the way, I placed this order, or I was about to place this order, and I heard back from Mesomods, and they sent me a replacement part. So this was purely an experiment because I didn't need this. So, anyways, this is the original part. Oh, let me show pictures. This is better because let's see here. Share. What screen? Here we go. Let me go down here. So I did this in two parts. The bottom of this is clay, and I since this is it's a hollow piece. I don't know if you guys can see this in my window at all, but I set the part. It's kind of floating, so it's seated in this clay underneath here, and then this top is the silicone, and you'll have to let that sit for 6 hours, and then let's see here. There's another better shot of it, so you can see the clay underneath. This is plexiglass. It's just a little, and this is a marquee underneath it. That's my platform.
Nice.
It's an old beat up marquee that I've used for doing Bondo, to keep a clean edge, and so it's a beat up marquee. Actually, this is Brad's Toki marquee he sent me. And so this is I just had some extra plexiglass, and so I cut this into 6-inch cubes basically, and it's all hot glued. And so you have to wait 6 hours for this top of the silicone to set, and then you flip it over and you peel off the mold, and this is the underside. And so these off to the left and all these holes are acorn/cap nuts that you would buy at any hardware store. Okay. And you set those into clay so that when you pour the mold in, they act as keys. And so when the mold sits perfectly in there, you can only put it in one way. That way you can't screw anything up, and it sits really, really tightly. And so here you can see how I had here's the half of the piece that's seated in the silicone, and so that was halfway through. So what I have to do is I have to assemble the box around here again, and then pour the other half on top. If we can ignore that. So here you go. These
You
are
worked out in between, and then
I worked out a
Nice
couple
gym.
times.
Yep.
So this is the top half now, the second half. And these are this is clay right here. This is the pour spigot. So you put a little like a funnel type piece of clay in there, so you have a hole to pour the cast in. And then this other one is for air, to prevent air bubbles.
I think
And
they call it a riser also when you mold stuff. So when you over pour it, it goes up, fills up that area, and gives you a pocket to like go back down.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I'm learning that. This is my first time, so Gak knows more than I do.
Not plastics. I've done metal this way, but yeah.
Okay. So what ended up happening here, and I'll talk about this here because I don't have a picture of it. It's in the video. So I recorded video this whole way through, and I'm looking forward to editing that. But so when I reassembled this box around here of plexiglass, it wasn't perfectly tight all the way around. And so what ended up happening was I got, and it's not, you can't see it here because this is early on, but some of that silicone oozed out the bottom and leaked. Actually, these markers here are to prevent for me to see how much it was going to leak, because it had started already, even though you can't see it here. And so what ended up happening was that silicone, since it seeped out the sides and found those pockets, it actually bonded on the outer edges here. So what ends up happening is you have to spray this lubricant. It's called ease release, they call it, to prevent the silicone on top from bonding to the cured stuff that's on the bottom. But since it poured out the outer edges here, it bonded to the outside edges. So what ended up happening was, you can see I had to chop a little bit off with a razor because otherwise I wasn't able to separate it because it was bonded. But so it's not pretty on the edges, but here you can see this is after I pulled the top off. It was all done, and here's my original piece.
And
so
all
you can
those
see the
kind
imprint.
of molded in acorn nuts on the left side is what fits in
exactly, so that you can't
mating
screw it
part on
up.
the right.
And if you look here, you probably can't see it very well, but this silicone captured every little detail, including lines of the 3D print. So like every little detail of there was captured. It was really cool. So maybe
to even get that interior section that has to be hollowed out.
Oh, here you go. So there
That's
you can
like
kind of see.
complex.
Yeah. So since it was hollow, it took me a long time to figure out how to set this piece in two parts without, basically with being able to remove it because of how it sat. So let's see here. So here, this is the cast. This is my first, I guess you could say my first experiment. The one in the red is the original. Here's the cast part. And it turned out great. So I had glued it here where it had broke, and so this is completely solid. This is actually stronger because this is a urethane, a really heavy duty urethane plastic. So it's way stronger than this piece.
Yeah, because there's basically the 3D print has a grain structure, and that's like weak points. Those every layer, whereas when you mold it, it's like kind of all one piece. There's no layers.
Yeah, so like I was just blown away how close this was, like how identical it turned out.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It turned out great. So here it is. The one on the left, this is the one on the right is the original. Here's the one on the left. And then I had re-glued the danger sticker. So here it is complete. Oops. It was hard to match the paint like entirely, but when
so it was white and then you painted it.
I painted it. I spray painted it. And so when I put it on the play field next to the other one, it was pretty damn close. Like it's so
pretty amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
So close. Here's one with a flash, but you can see like so I can't tell the difference other than maybe a little off the paint a little bit, but
now that white molded part, you can actually put dyes in that, I think, and make it colored if you wanted to.
You can, but I was I refrained from that because I was like, well, I think it might be easier for me to go to a hardware store and try to just match
That
the
way you can
paint.
color match it. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Jim, what did you pay in materials for the one you made?
About $100, and I can make so the mold is it's permanent. I can make as many of these as I want now because it's a permanent silicone mold. So I could do, if I wanted to, I could do 100 of them because that urethane just comes right out. It doesn't bond to the silicone, and so I mean,
you pay for the original part?
Granted, well, for the whole set.
Oh, this is just one part.
This is one part of the whole set. The whole set I paid $130 for the whole mod, which is and I could show you that entire mod.
Yeah, to make one was 100, but if you made like 20, it's probably like 110 bucks or something.
And I have to remind you guys that this was a complete experiment. So I had already explored options where I was like, I was looking at 3D scanners, 3D print. At some point, I'm going to get a 3D printer. But for me, so the only other real option that was affordable would have been for me to try. Now, keep in mind, try to measure every aspect of this. It's not straight. It doesn't bend. It's hollow. Measure every aspect of this and then send those measurements to someone that can 3D print it. So I explored options. I looked at someone to professionally 3D scan it, which I got prices starting at about $400 all the way up to about $5,000.
Yes.
Then that's just scanning. And then I've been looking at 3D printers. I haven't bought one yet, but I want to. But a decent one, you're going to spend a couple, $200-300 as much as you want beyond there. And so I looked at all these other options. And so for just a fun little experiment, and I still have supplies. I still have extra mold. I still have extra urethane. So to spend about $100 was nothing just for an experiment.
This was for the learning because you said it was only 130 for the whole thing, and it's like, I could buy it, or maybe you just wanted to.
Initially, I was going to do this because I thought this was because I didn't know I was going to be able to get a replacement. Now, right when I had this stuff, I literally had it added to my cart, and I got an email back from Mesomods. Yeah, we'll send you a replacement for I can't remember what it was, $20-30. It was cheap. They sent me a few parts. And so I'm like, yeah, but this will be a fun project anyways, just to see if this works. Because now knowing that how well,
why not?
Yeah, and now knowing that this works, it opens up possibilities for any future projects too.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, Jim. What else have you thought about? I'm sure as soon as that turned out and your success, what else can I put? I
don't know, but it is a lot of fun. I can't wait to put together because I recorded every step in the video of me doing this, so it was fun. And I learned a few things about how I need to build. That was an 1/8 inch plexiglass acrylic or whatever that I was using for that box, and that was just because I had that laying around. In the future, I would get something that's thicker and
3/16, 1/4 inch, something like that.
Probably, yeah. In the video they used a 1/2 inch.
Oh, wow.
Which is really, but I would probably do 1/4 because that's easy to find, something like that. And then you're just super gluing it, but it worked. It's just it didn't perfectly seal on.
Find an old fish tank, like a small enough fish tank. It's molded on the inside of that,
Yeah, and that stuff. Holy shit! The biggest challenge was figuring out what I needed, because that, by the way, when you mix, so all this stuff is 2 parts. So the mold comes in 2 different containers. You mix them together, 1-to-1 ratio. And the mold that stuff that I got was the Mold Star 30. It's tougher. It's not as flexible as the 15. But I wanted that because that plays with the urethane I got that was more rigid than something that's more pliable. Because I was going back and forth with this guy about how flexible do I want this? Well, I want it a little flexible, but it's supposed to really tightly wrap around those rails on the play field. And so I went with that. And then the urethane, is another story. When you're casting that, when you're pouring that in there, so the mold takes 6 hours to set. So it takes a long time for it to set, and it's a bit, you know, it's a little flexible. But the urethane, that stuff that I have takes 10 to 15 minutes. So you have to race. You have to race to get that in there, and it gets hot. I didn't realize this, but you pour it together and you stir it up, and I poured it in the little pour spout, but I mixed too much, so I left the rest in the little container, and I went back, you know, like 20 minutes later, and I was like, oh, it's you know, it's rock solid in my little mixing cup. And I picked it up and I'm like, whoa, it's like hot chocolate. This stuff was like, it was hot.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize that but what I was getting at was the biggest.
You say that as a non-coffee
challenge.
drinker. The coffee drinkers would be like, it would be hot like coffee, and you're like, it's hot like hot chocolate.
Yeah. That's a good point.
I'm
You're
with you though. I'm not a coffee drinker.
Very astute.
For me, it would be hot like tea.
But yeah. So when I went to remove it, I was a little, because you've got that urethane fills all the way up to the pour spigot and the and that air pocket. So you have these two pieces of urethane that are sticking up.
You have to trim those off, right?
Well, no, you do eventually after you remove it, but removing it was a challenge because since it's a funnel shape, it's bigger at the top of the mold and skinnier down here. And so you can't just peel it off because it's getting stuck at the top.
Yeah.
And so I had to take, in the video, you know, they had a real simple project they were doing. So it wasn't as complicated as what I was doing. And so the guy had his thumbs pressing down right there to push that through while he removed the mold. Now, and so I took like a screwdriver and pushed it down. Eventually I was able to get it out. And then, I had to take a Dremel and shave off that from the
mold.
Because I had them lined up on these flat spots.
We should give a quick good night to Dave. Dave's signing off.
Dave.
Later, Dave.
Dave.
Nice, dude. Later. It was so much fun.
I'll take your money tomorrow.
Yes, I will see you tomorrow. And I love the mold talk. That was very interesting.
It was. You love it so much that it's boring you. You have to leave now.
Oh, I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, oh my god, I do have to work tomorrow, unfortunately.
It's only 2 o'clock. Come on, Dave.
I'll see you tomorrow, buddy.
See you.
Work, schmirk.
Yeah.
See you, Dave.
Mock's ready to call it quits too, I think.
Yeah, I gotta get up early.
Yeah,
but
that's all right. Anyways, sorry to bore you guys, but it turned out
awesome.
awesome.
It is awesome. So you're gonna have a video. You're gonna
yeah.
Awesome.
So after I'm done with my mod videos, I'm halfway done. I finished part 2 today. It's gonna be a 4-parter. I thought it was gonna be a 3-parter, but but my second video edited down is an hour and a half.
Oh shit!
Screw it. Just make it a 1-part, 5-hour-long video.
That's right.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll pull a John.
Good thing is we have
Jacobson.
lots of time to watch it.
Yeah. So I made good progress. I ran into some challenges. I actually had to recreate some shots because I lost a chunk of footage from my second camera. I shot it with 2, and unfortunately, the shots that with the second camera, some of them were better than the other one, and so you couldn't see some stuff. And so even today, I had to do some pickups where I had to like redo a couple things for the camera. I can't do it all because it's in order. But like today, one of my things I had to do was I actually recreated a splitter, recrimped a new splitter because it was going to be too much of a pain in the ass for me to go back into the game, remove it while I was talking about it. And so
there you go, Andrew.
So
you can buy his the funnel thing and the splitter that won't work on your Ghostbusters, but you'll put it in there anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds good. I'm just trying to sell it.
It's
it's
curved for her pleasure.
But I finished it today. Yeah. So I've got one more. I've got 2 more parts. The third part. I've been doing these fun little. I decided I was going to do these little recaps since it's a series. So like at the beginning, it's kind of like watching a TV series where it's like they do previously on blah blah blah. So I've been doing these little recaps.
Nice.
But so third part. So third part will be the last of the big mods. The fourth part will be basically the finishing up, doing the gameplay, and then my little. So fourth part should be shorter than the other three, but yeah, it's a lot of work, but they're coming along nicely.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then I'll do this video.
Fun doing it, right?
Yeah, I was telling my parents when I called them on Sunday, and I was telling them about my video projects, and I was telling my mom, I was like, I got about
look what I made. Look what I made.
No, I was like, I got about a third of the way through recording, doing the video while I was doing the mods, and I remember telling Carrie on one of our evening conversations, I'm like, I'm starting to regret actually doing a video on this. I kind of wish I had just done just done the mods and not done the video, because it just adds so much time and to this whole thing and so much work. And then your response was, well, what else are you going to do during this quarantine? I'm like, well, you do have a point. So
yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
I'm SMRT.
Yeah. You should just combine it with Carrie's holiday video and knock them both out of the same.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's one thing about this quarantine where I've been like, I don't think we're going to be able to do it because it's just this quarantine.
I think Carrie's next video has to be about Jimbo's research. Waiting for another Jimbo restore or whatever it is.
Yeah. Waiting for my mold to set.
Yes.
Pour the clay, pour the acrylic. Yeah.
Nice.
This
Nice.
will be idyllic.
I'm not bored.
It's idyllic.
Sure, I'll fly all the way out there to watch you bolt on a couple flippers.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice. Yeah.
All right, let's shut the shit down.
Yeah, it's late.
Who wants to take us out of here?
So, Mock, this is 221B,
221 B. Yes.
We had a crash in our.
We had the A
stream.
team earlier, and then failed, and we got the B flick.
I mean,
right?
hopefully this is all working. Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll see. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. And
we do this every week, sometimes twice a week. Sometimes we watch
learn
movies and
something.
fuck off because we're watching movies. But
we'll
you might be invited.
Welcome to Horror Movie Hangout. And mold Hangout.
And soon maybe we'll do the sci-fi hangout.
Yeah, sci-fi hangouts coming up.
All right. Good night, everyone. Thank you.